Section 1. Requirement to obtain a Georgia driver's license. Georgia law requires that any person wanting to operate a motor vehicle on the roadways of this state obtain a Georgia driver's license or permit within 30 days of becoming a resident. A person meeting at least one of the following criteria is considered a Georgia resident according to Georgia law, OCGA Section 1 of May 40. A person who has a permanent home or abode in Georgia and, when absent, has the intent of returning. A person who accepts employment or engages in any trade or occupation in Georgia or who enters his/her children in school. Any person that has been in the state for 30 days or more. Not required to obtain a Georgia driver's license, permit. Any employee of the United States government who is operating a motor vehicle owned by or leased to the United States government or that is being operated on official business. This exemption does not apply if the employee is required by the United States government or any agency of the United States government to have a state driver's license. A non-resident who is at least 16 years of age and who has in his or her immediate possession a valid license issued to him or her in his or her home state or country. However, any restrictions that would apply to a Georgia driver's license as a matter of law would apply to any person who has an out-of-state license. A non-resident who is on active duty in the armed forces of the United States if he or she has a valid license issued by his or her home state. This includes their spouse or dependent son or daughter who has a valid license issued by their home state. Any person who is on active duty in the armed forces of the United States and who has in his or her immediate possession a valid license issued in a foreign country by the armed forces of the United States. However, this license will only be accepted for a period of not more than 45 days from the date of his or her return to the United States. Any person temporarily driving or operating a farm tractor or farm equipment on a highway for the purpose of conducting farm business. Any member of the reserve components of the Armed Forces of the United States who is operating a motor vehicle owned by or leased to the United States government. However, the motor vehicle must be operated in accordance with the duties of the person as a member of the reserve components of the armed forces. Any person seeking to obtain a driver's license while he or she is taking the driving examination to obtain a license. This person must be accompanied by a driver examiner of the department or a certified examining agent of the department. Any migrant farm worker who works in this state less than 90 days in any calendar year and who possesses a valid driver's license issued by another state. Any resident who is 15 years of age or over while taking actual in-car training in a non-commercial training vehicle and while under the direct personal supervision of a DDS licensed driving instructor. A driving instructor must test the eyesight of any unlicensed person who will be receiving actual in-car training prior to the training, and the person must meet the vision requirements listed on page 8 of this manual. Any person who is operating a personal transportation vehicle on any roadway publicly maintained for the use of personal transportation vehicles only, or when crossing a street or highway used by other types of motor vehicles at a location designated for such crossing by a motorized cart. A non-resident of Georgia who is attending a school in this state, as long as a. He or she is at least 16 years of age and has in his or her immediate possession a valid license issued to him or her in his or her home state or country and a valid international driving permit if the license is in a language other than English. Provided, however, that any restrictions which would apply to a Georgia driver's license apply to the privileges given to this person, and b. He or she is currently enrolled or was enrolled during the immediately preceding period of enrollment in a school in this state, has paid the tuition charged by the school to non-residents of Georgia for the current or immediately preceding period of enrollment, and has in his or her possession proof of payment of such tuition paid for the current or immediately preceding period of enrollment. Applicants under age 18, automobile or motorcycle. In addition to the requirements listed above, applicants under 18 years of age must present proof of the following. All applicants under 18 years of age must have a parent, legal guardian or responsible adult present to sign the application and complete a responsible adult affidavit. Completion of Alcohol and Drug Awareness Program, ADAP. Satisfaction of school enrollment. For a Class D license or for a Class M instructional permit, MP, at age 16, proof of completion of a DDS-approved driver education program. For a Class D license or a Class M instructional permit, MP, at age 16, evidence of at least 40 hours of supervised driving, 6 of which must be at night. Additional details concerning these requirements can be found on our website at dds.georgia.gov. Previous licenses, instructional permits or identification cards. In most cases, when applying for renewal, replacement or transfer of any license, instructional permit, or identification card, ID card, previously issued in Georgia or any other state or foreign jurisdiction, customers must surrender the previously issued license, permit, ID to DDS. In some cases, surrender of all valid licenses, permits, ID cards will be required. Most non-citizen customers with a valid out-of-country driver's license, permit, or ID may retain their out-of-country document upon issuance of a Georgia equivalent document. U.S. citizens will not be allowed to retain any licenses, permits, or identification cards issued to them by foreign countries. Vision requirements. Customers for initial issuance of a driver's license must demonstrate the ability to meet minimum vision requirements. The minimum acceptable vision for a non-commercial license is 20/60ths in one eye, with or without corrective lenses, and a horizontal field of vision of at least 140 degrees. If you are unable to pass the vision screening administered at the DDS Customer Service Center, you will be given a vision report form, DS-274, which must be completed by a licensed optometrist or ophthalmologist and submitted to DDS. The completed form will be evaluated to determine if you are eligible to obtain a driver's license. This form may also be used to document the need for bioptic lenses for driving and is available on our website, dds.georgia.gov. If you must wear glasses or contacts to pass your initial vision screening, a corrective lenses restriction will be placed in your license when it is issued. Each time you complete a transaction, you will be required to indicate whether you require glasses or contacts for driving. If your answer differs from the response in our records, you may be required to complete another vision screening or submit a current DS-274 for verification. Customers age 64 and over must successfully complete a vision screening every 8 years. Customers who have obtained a license with a bioptic lenses restriction must provide updated medical information to the department every 2 years. Classes of licenses. The issuance of licenses and permits in Georgia is based on their categorization by class. The various classes are associated with the types of vehicles that may be driven and the restrictions that apply to operation of those vehicles. Listed below are the non-commercial classes used in Georgia, along with a description of their purpose. Pursuant to House Bill 136, 2017, three-wheel autocycles will not require a Class M motorcycle operator's license. Autocycles are defined as three-wheel motor vehicles that are equipped with a steering wheel and not handlebars. DDS will not administer road tests that involve the use of an autocycle. Georgia also issues Class A, B, and C commercial licenses. Information concerning these licenses is included in the Georgia Commercial Driver's Manual, available at all DDS customer service centers and on our website at dds.georgia.gov. Fees, forms of payment. The fees for obtaining non-commercial driver's licenses, permits, and ID cards in person are listed below. This fee schedule is not adjusted to reflect the $5 discount for those who choose to renew online or via DDS2Go. All DDS customer service centers accept cash, Visa and MasterCard credit and debit cards with a bank logo, and Discover and American Express credit cards and mobile pay options. We do not accept checks, money orders, or cashier checks. License, permit and ID card holders are allowed one free name or address change per issuance term. Other changes can also be made at the time of the free name or address change at no charge. Any subsequent modifications require a full renewal at regular cost. A replacement driver's license, permit or ID card is a duplicate of the replaced document, no modifications or changes, and may be provided at a cost of $5 per occurrence. The replacement license, permit, ID card will expire on the original expiration date. However, if a replacement is requested within 150 days of the original expiration date, or within 30 days of the original expiration date for a motorcycle instructional permit, the license, permit, ID must be renewed for a new term at full cost. License restrictions. When issuing a driver's license, DDS is authorized to impose restrictions in your driver's license, whenever there is good cause, to assure the safe operation of a motor vehicle. Any restrictions imposed will appear on your driver's license. If no restrictions are imposed, the letter A will appear in the license restrictions area on your license. The chart to the right lists the restriction codes used by DDS. Licenses may be issued with multiple restriction codes. Expired license. To renew a driver's license that has been expired more than 2 years, you must pass a vision test, a driving test, and an exam to test your knowledge of road signs and road rules. You must also meet secure ID documentation requirements if you have not already done so. Carrying and displaying your license. You must have an appropriate driver's license or permit in your possession while operating a motor vehicle in the state of Georgia. If stopped while driving, you must display your driver's license, permit to any law enforcement officer upon his or her request. Secure ID documentation requirements. The following are examples of acceptable documents to bring with you to be issued a secure ID. Identity document. An original or certified document to prove WHOYOUARE, such as an original or certified birth certificate, U.S. passport, certificate of naturalization, I-551, etc. Your Social Security card, a W-2, SSA-1099, or pay stub may also be used but must show your full Social Security number. 2 documents showing Georgia residence, for example, utility bill, phone bill. Name change. If your name is currently different than the identity document presented, such as birth certificate, passport, etc., you must provide a certified copy with seal. Legal name change document, for example, marriage certificate, divorce decree, etc. Note: document required even if your name is correct on current license, ID. Minors may present passport. However, proof of guardianship requires original, certified birth certificate or certified court-order documents. Original immigration documentation must be submitted each time service is requested pertaining to a driver's license or identification card. Gender change. A gender update requires applicants to submit a court order or physician's letter certifying gender change. The letter or court order shall state the person's name, date of birth, date of gender reassignment operation, and other identifying information. To assist with collecting your documents, DDS has created a checklist wizard at www.dds.georgia.gov that will allow you to print a custom checklist of your documents, or you may choose to print the full list of acceptable documents. Once you are issued a secure ID with a star in the upper right corner, you should be eligible to conduct future transactions without visiting a center. Download the DDS app, DDS2GO, for free to have a licensing office in your pocket. Important notice. Beginning October 1, 2020, you will need a secure ID, Real ID compliant card, with a star in the right corner, to fly within the U.S. or enter federal buildings or nuclear power plant. www.dhs.gov. If stopped by law enforcement, pull to the nearest, safest spot out of traffic, use your turn signal, and remember safety. Stay calm and remain in the vehicle, unless instructed otherwise. Keep your seatbelt fastened, and roll the window down completely. Always keep both hands visible to the officer. Driver's hands should be on the steering wheel. Turn on interior lights if stopped at night. Focus on the officer. Turn off the radio, put down any mobile devices, and be courteous even if you disagree. Explanations can be made in court, not on the roadside. Do not argue with the officer. Tell the officer where your documents, for example, driver's license, proof of insurance, and vehicle registration, are located. Take out your documents only after the officer's request. You should not make sudden moves or threatening gestures. Inform the officer if there is a weapon in the vehicle and where. Do not reach for the weapon. Things you should know. If the officer is not in uniform or does not have a marked patrol car, you should ask for identification. The officer may approach the driver's side or passenger side of the vehicle. Do not be alarmed. He or she will approach in the safest manner. If you receive a citation in Georgia, you will be asked to sign it. Signing the citation is not an admission of guilt. It only means that you received a citation for a violation. Any refusal to sign the citation could result in you being arrested and taken to jail to post a bond. You will be given a court date to argue your case. You should not discard your copy of the citation. Section 2. Obtaining a license, permit or identification card. Current Georgia residents. Class C Instructional Permit, CP. For first-time issuance of a Class C Instructional Permit, CP, you must meet all requirements to obtain a secure DL/ID if you have not already done so. Obtaining a Class C Instructional Permit, CP. Upon reaching age 15, or any time thereafter, you may apply for a Class C Instructional Permit, CP. The following information will help you prepare for your visit to a DDS Customer Service Center. You will be required to present documents verifying your identity, U.S. citizenship or lawful presence, and Georgia residency. You must present proof of your Social Security number or your ineligibility to obtain a Social Security number. If you were under age 18, you will be required to present proof of school enrollment. If you were under age 18, a parent, legal guardian or responsible adult will have to sign the application, thereby giving their consent for you to obtain a permit. The individual who signs your application may, for any reason, revoke your permit until you reach the age of 18. You will be required to pass a vision test. Your eyes will be tested by means of a mechanical device. You will be required to pass a knowledge exam related to road signs and road rules. The test fee is $10 and must be paid prior to testing. If any part of the test is failed, no refund will be issued. The permit fee must be paid prior to every testing attempt. Conditions of a Class C Instructional Permit, CP. Once issued a Class C Instructional Permit, CP, you may operate any Class C vehicle when accompanied by a person at least 21 years of age who is licensed to drive a Class C vehicle, who is fit and capable of exercising control over the vehicle, and who is occupying a seat beside the driver. Class C Instructional Permits, CP, are valid for up to 2 years. Class D Provisional License. For first-time issuance of a Class D license, you must meet all requirements to obtain a secure DL/ID if you have not already done so. Obtaining a Class D Provisional License. Upon reaching the age of 16, and after having held a valid instructional permit for 1 year and 1 day, you may apply for a Class D Provisional License. The following information will help you prepare for your visit to a DDS Customer Service Center. You will need to make a road test appointment. You must surrender your Class C Instructional Permit, CP, or affirm on your application that you were unable to surrender the permit. You will be required to present proof of school enrollment. You must present proof of completion of the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Program, ADAP. This program is taught in most schools, and is also available online. For information about ADAP, you may visit dds.georgia.gov. A parent, legal guardian or responsible adult will have to sign the application, thereby giving their consent for you to obtain a license. The individual who signs your application may, for any reason, revoke your license until you reach the age of 18. You must pass a road test designed to evaluate your ability to safely operate a motor vehicle. You must satisfy the driver education requirements listed below. Note: teens with parents active in the U.S. military can use an out-of-state driver's education certificate provided that it is within 9 months of their 16th birthday. Driver education requirements. To obtain a Class D license at the age of 16, you must complete a driver education course approved by DDS. An approved driver education course consists of either 30 hours of classroom instruction or completion of an equivalent online virtual course, and 6 hours of on-the-road experience with a certified instructor or completion of the DDS-approved Parent-Teen Driving Guide. You must also have completed a cumulative total of at least 40 hours of other driving experience, including at least 6 hours at night. An affidavit must be signed certifying that this requirement has been met. Note: if the teen obtains the on-the-road component of driver's education from a certified instructor, a separate document affirming that this requirement has been met must be completed at the time of the road test. If you have not completed the driver education requirements, you cannot obtain a Class D license until you reach the age of 17. For information on approved driver education courses and to download the Parent Teen Driving Guide, see the DDS website, dds.georgia.gov. Conditions of a Class D provisional license. A Class D license holder may not drive between the hours of 12 a.m. and 5 a.m., no exceptions. During the first 6 months following issuance, only immediate family members may ride in the vehicle. Immediate family member includes the driver's parents and step-parents, grandparents, siblings and step-siblings, children, and any other person who resides at the driver's residence. During the second 6 months following issuance, only one passenger under 21 years of age who is not a member of the driver's immediate family may ride in the vehicle. After the first and second 6-month periods, only 3 passengers under 21 years of age who are not members of the driver's immediate family may ride in the vehicle. A Class D license holder must, for the 12 months preceding application for their Class C license, be free from any convictions for major traffic violations that result in the mandatory suspension of a driver's license. Class C license. For first-time issuance of a Class C license, you must meet all requirements to obtain a secure DL/ID if you have not already done so. Obtaining a Class C license, exchanging a Class D license. A Class D license holder may apply for a Class C license upon reaching the age of 18. The applicant must have held a valid Class D license until the age of 18, or for 1 year and 1 day, without having been convicted of any major traffic violations in the 12 months preceding his/her application. Upon surrender of the Class D license or affirmation on the application that the customer is unable to surrender the license, the applicant will be issued a Class C license at the cost of $32 for an 8-year license. No other documentation or testing is required for U.S. citizens. Obtaining a Class C license, exchanging a Class C instructional permit, CP. A Class C instructional permit, CP, holder may apply for a Class C license only if he or she has reached the age of 18. To obtain a Class C license, you must surrender your previously issued Class C instructional permit, CP, or affirm on your application that you were unable to surrender the permit. You must also pass a road test designed to evaluate your ability to safely operate a motor vehicle. Upon surrender of the Class C instructional permit, CP, or affirmation on the application that you were unable to surrender the permit, you will be issued a Class C license at the cost of $32 for a 8-year license. You must sign an affidavit verifying that you have completed 40 hours of supervised road driving, which includes 6 hours of night driving. Obtaining a Class C license, applicant is not currently licensed. If you are at least 18 years of age and would like to apply for a driver's license in Georgia for the first time, you have 2 options. Immediately apply for a Class C driver's license. You must meet all documentation requirements and successfully complete the knowledge and road test examinations. You must also sign an affidavit affirming that you have completed 40 hours of supervised road driving, which includes 6 hours of night driving. Apply for a Class C instructional permit, CP, which allows you to obtain practical driving experience under the supervision of a licensed driver. State ID card. For first-time issuance of a state ID card, you must meet all requirements to obtain a secure DL/ID if you have not already done so. A State of Georgia ID card may be obtained at any DDS customer service center. The cost of this card varies depending on the type of card obtained. An 8-year ID card is $32. All previous ID cards must be surrendered. If you no longer have possession of your previous driver's license, ID card, permit to surrender, you must provide a certified copy of your motor vehicle report, MVR, from the previous state. Upon submission of a referral from a DDS-approved nonprofit agency, the applicant will be permitted to obtain an ID card at a cost of $5. A special ID card for persons with permanent disabilities is available for a term of 8 years at a cost of $5. A card for persons with temporary disabilities is also available for a term of 6 months at a cost of $5. This card serves as proof of the need for special transportation services, seating accommodations, and other facilities for the handicapped. Verification from a licensed physician may be required to obtain a permanent handicap ID, and is always required to obtain or extend a temporary handicap ID. The fee for this card is waived for those who meet the qualifications listed on this page for a veteran's driver's license. Customers can also have the handicap symbol placed on any other type of license, permit, or identification card. Customers have the option to include certain medical information on the back of their card as well. This information is also available at our website, dds.georgia.gov. A voter registration ID is also available at no cost for any individual who swears under oath that the ID is needed in order to vote in an election in Georgia. All applicants for ID cards must provide proof of identity, proof of U.S. citizenship or lawful presence, proof of Social Security number or ineligibility for a Social Security number, and proof of Georgia residency. Other license types. Commercial driver's license. Detailed information concerning licensing requirements for commercial driver's licenses can be found in the Commercial Driver's Manual as well as on the DDS website at dds.georgia.gov. Motorcycle operator's license. Detailed information concerning licensing requirements for motorcycle operators' licenses can be found in the Motorcycle Operator's Manual as well as on the DDS website at dds.georgia.gov. Licenses for veterans of the U.S. Armed Forces and their spouses. Veteran's license. Important. Please read carefully. The veteran must obtain the Certificate of Eligibility, DS-516, from the State Department of Veterans Service to obtain a veteran's license. Applicants must meet the following requirements for eligibility of a veteran's license. Visit the nearest office of the State Department of Veterans Service and present evidence of honorable, active duty service in the Armed Forces of the United States or evidence of a minimum of 20 years of service in the National Guard. All this information is in your copy of the Armed Forces Separation Papers, Form DD-214. Activation for training purposes does not qualify you for the Georgia Veterans License. The qualified veteran will be issued a Certificate of Eligibility, DS-516, signed by the veteran and the certifying official from the State Department of Veterans Service. The original certificate, DS-516, may then be presented by the veteran to any DDS Customer Service Center along with any other documentation needed to prove identity, lawful presence, and residency for issuance of the license. See pages 10 to 11. Veterans who have served during a period of active conflict are eligible for a free veteran's license, ID card. The State Department of Veterans Service will denote active conflict on the DS-516. Successfully pass a vision test for the initial issuance of a Class C veteran's license. To obtain any other class of license, you must successfully complete examinations for the class of license desired. Honorary license, no fee. The spouse of a disabled, honorably separated veteran who does not have a driver's license, or the unmarried surviving spouse of a deceased honorably separated veteran, is entitled to the same license available to the veteran. An applicant for this type of license must meet the same requirements as those required for a veteran's license. For the unmarried surviving spouse, the death certificate along with the DD-214 must be submitted to the State Department of Veterans Service to obtain a Certificate of Eligibility. Veterans must have served on active duty during one of the periods of conflict, see chart above, or must have served at least 20 years in the National Guard to qualify for a veteran's license or for a spouse to qualify for an honorary license. National Guard license. A distinctive license may be issued to any member of the Georgia National Guard in good standing who has completed at least 1 year of satisfactory service. A Certificate of Eligibility, DS-318, form must be obtained from the local National Guard commanding officer and presented to any DDS Customer Service Center. This license is renewable during the time of service in the National Guard or until 20 years of service has been obtained, at which time the person will be entitled to a veteran's license. The Form DS-318 must be presented to the DDS upon every renewal of a National Guard license. New Georgia residents. General information. You must apply for a Georgia driver's license or permit within 30 days of becoming a Georgia resident if you wish to drive upon the highways of this state. Please see page 6 for more information about requirements to obtain a license or permit and exemptions for certain individuals. transferring from another state or District of Columbia. Under age 18 with valid out-of-state license or permit. If you hold a valid driver's license or instructional permit issued by any other state of the United States or by the District of Columbia, you will normally be eligible to obtain a comparable license or permit issued by Georgia. However, the state of issuance may have requirements for teenage drivers that differ from Georgia. For more information, please call the Customer Contact Center at 678-413-8400. 18 or older with a valid out-of-state license or permit. Surrender a valid license issued by another state or territory of the United States or by the District of Columbia, expired less than 2 years. If you are unable to surrender a valid driver's license, you must present a certified motor vehicle report, driving history from the state of issuance, dated within 30 days, showing your status as valid. Non-citizens are not required to surrender their foreign non-commercial license or permit. Be at least 18 years of age, or 17 years of age if surrendering a valid license equivalent to a Georgia Class C license with no time, route, purpose or passenger restrictions. Your Social Security number will be verified with the Social Security Administration. You must present proof of your Social Security number. Provide proof of identity. Provide proof of citizenship or lawful presence in the United States. All documents must be originals or certified copies. Faxed copies will not be accepted. Provide 2 documents to prove Georgia residency. Pass a vision test. Transferring a license, permit, ID from another country or U.S. territory. If you do not have the out-of-country license, permit, ID in your possession, you must provide a motor vehicle report, driving history, printed in English, dated within the last 30 days, from the country of license issuance. Most non-citizen customers with a valid out-of-country driver's license, permit, or ID may retain their out-of-country document upon issuance of a Georgia equivalent document. U.S. citizens will not be allowed to retain any licenses, permits, or identification cards issued to them by foreign countries. Successfully complete the knowledge, road, and vision exams. Present mandatory documents to prove identity, citizenship or lawful presence, Social Security number, and residency. If under the age of 18, additional requirements will apply. Licenses, permits and IDs issued outside the District of Columbia or any other state of the United States are non-transferable. A customer holding any document issued outside of the 50 states or District of Columbia must complete the full process for issuance of a new document in Georgia, including all tests required for the class being requested, if applicable. Citizens of certain foreign countries may be exempt from knowledge and skills testing. For a list, visit dds.georgia.gov. Section 3. Testing information. Knowledge exam. Knowledge exams are given on a walk-in basis at every DDS customer service center statewide. To ensure that an applicant has adequate time to complete the knowledge exam, customers must begin taking the written test at least 30 minutes prior to closing. Please check the hours of operation before you visit on our website at dds.georgia.gov. We offer special assistance for customers with reading disabilities and hearing impairment. Please visit your local CSC to schedule an appointment for an oral exam or to schedule an interpreter for the hearing impaired. The road rules tests are available in some non-English languages, but all drivers must show ability to read and understand simple English such as is used in highway traffic and directional signs. Road signs and the actual driving test are conducted in English only. These basic rules must be followed while a knowledge exam is being given. You may not bring pens, pencils, paper, or any other items into the testing area. All cell phones, text messaging devices, and other types of wireless devices are prohibited in the testing area. You may not speak to anyone during the test other than the examiner administering the test. Any violation of these rules is considered misconduct. If misconduct occurs during the administration of the knowledge exam, the exam session will be counted as a failure. The questions on the knowledge exam pertain to topics discussed in this manual and consist of the following components. Road signs. A set of questions on the meaning of standard highway signs will be given. This test is given in English only. You will be asked to identify certain signs, signals and markers. You must correctly answer 15 out of 20 questions to pass. You may take a practice test at dds.georgia.gov. Road rules. The road rules test consists of a set of questions about driver responsibility, knowledge of laws, and safe driving practices applicable to the class of license for which you are applying. You must correctly answer 15 out of 20 questions to pass. You may take a practice test at dds.georgia.gov. Road test. Making road test reservations. The road skills test is administered by appointment only. Appointments allow us to maximize our resources and to serve all of our customers more efficiently. When all testing slots have not been reserved, an appointment may be available for same-day service. To make an appointment, please visit DDS Online Services at dds.georgia.gov. Advanced Driver Assistance Systems. Drivers may perform the skills test in vehicles equipped with advanced driver assistance technology. However, the applicant must demonstrate their ability to operate the vehicle without such technology. Road test for Class C or D. DDS will only administer a Class C or D road test in a four-wheel vehicle. You must provide the vehicle for the road test. All road test vehicles must have a valid registration, license plate, or if equipped with a temporary dealership tag, the applicant must provide the bill of sale for proof of purchase within the last 30 days, 7 days if the vehicle is purchased from a third party. All road test vehicles must be covered by liability insurance. You must show a valid insurance card or motor vehicle registration card that shows the VIN, and pass a safety inspection. If the vehicle is not equipped with illuminated turn signals, you must be able to pass the road test using hand signals. You may take the test in a rental vehicle. Please be advised that many rental agreements do not allow vehicle use for driver training or testing. Additionally, you must meet the following conditions. You must provide a copy of the rental contract. The contract will be reviewed to determine if testing is allowed. You must be listed as a driver on the rental contract. You must provide proof of valid insurance for the vehicle. The driving test will not be conducted if weather conditions or any other conditions are determined to be unsafe for the driver or examiner. DDS will make every effort to ensure that impacted customers are rescheduled as soon as possible. For the driving test, you will be expected to demonstrate your ability to do all of the following. Parallel parking. Park midway between two standards so that your car is not more than 18 inches from the curb. The standard parallel parking dimensions utilized in the driver's license test are 22 feet in length by 10 feet in depth. Straight line backing. Back your car for a distance of approximately 50 feet at a slow rate of speed, not more than 10 miles per hour, as straight and as smoothly as possible. You must turn your head and look behind the vehicle while backing. No boundary lines should be encroached. Stop for signs or traffic signals. Give the proper hand or brake signal. Approach in the proper lane. Stop before reaching a pedestrian crosswalk and remain stopped until all pedestrians have cleared the crosswalk on the side of the roadway upon which you are traveling. Move through the intersection only when you may do so safely. Turnabout. Turn your car in a narrow space using a three-point turn. Use of clutch. If your car has a manual transmission, you must shift smoothly and correctly. Approaching intersections and corners. You must be in the proper lane and look in both directions. Yielding right of way. Always yield right of way to pedestrians, vehicle operators, and bicyclists who move into the intersection before you by stopping and remaining stopped until they have cleared the intersection. Turning. Move into the proper lane and signal an adequate distance before the turn. Passing. Always check in front of and behind your vehicle to make sure you can safely pass without interfering with other traffic. Following. Do not follow other cars too closely. Follow at a safe distance from the vehicle in front of you in order to maintain control of the vehicle in case of any emergency situation or abrupt stops or turns. Maintaining good posture. Keep both hands on the steering wheel. Do not rest your elbow on the window and do not attempt to carry on a conversation with the examiner because she will be busy giving instructions and recording your score. At the end of the Class C/D road test, the license examiner will gladly show you your score sheet and will provide you an opportunity to discuss the results if you wish to do so. You must achieve a minimum score of 75% to pass. Road test for Class M. You must furnish a motorcycle for the test and pass a safety inspection of the motorcycle by the license examiner before the driving test is given. All road test vehicles must have a valid registration, license plate, or if equipped with a temporary dealership tag, the applicant must provide the bill of sale for proof of purchase within the last 30 days. Motorcycle operator testing information is covered in the Motorcycle Operator's Manual, which is available at all DDS customer service centers and online at dds.georgia.gov. For more information, you may contact the Motorcycle Safety Program at 678-413-8400 in the Metro Atlanta area. If you hold a motorcycle permit, you may schedule a motorcycle skills test appointment by calling 678-413-8400. Motorcycle road tests cannot be conducted when the weather conditions make it unsafe for the driver or examiner, including when it is raining or when the pavement is damp. Road test for Class E and F non-commercial. There is no driving test for Classes E and F non-commercial, however, you must present an application for issuance of non-commercial E/F license, DS-36, establishing your ability to operate vehicles within the particular class, and pass a knowledge test for that particular class. You must also possess or be eligible to obtain a Class C driver's license. Class E and F licenses are available to volunteer firefighters at no charge. Customers who wish to take the non-commercial Class E/F exam should study the Commercial Driver's Manual. The Commercial Driver's Manual can be located online at dds.georgia.gov, or customers can obtain a hard copy at any DDS customer service center. Road test for Class A, B, and C commercial. Commercial vehicle operators testing information is covered in the Georgia Commercial Driver's Manual, which is available at all DDS customer service centers and online at dds.georgia.gov. You may schedule a commercial skills test appointment by calling 678-413-8400. Pursuant to OCGA Section 25 May 40 and DDS Rule 1-1-.09, 7. The $50 commercial driver's license, CDL, road skills test fee is now required for each testing attempt. Results of pass, fail. If you pass all the tests, you will be issued a temporary license, permit. Your permanent license, permit will be mailed to you when all other requirements are met. If for any reason you do not receive your driver's license, permit within 30 days of meeting all requirements, contact DDS at 678-413-8400 or visit your local DDS customer service center. If you fail any part of the knowledge or road test, and it is your first failure, you must wait until the next day before retaking the portion you have failed. Second or subsequent failure, you must wait 7 days before retaking the portion you have failed. Section 4. Other services and information. Renewal for individuals temporarily located out of the state of Georgia. Renewal by mail is offered for certain groups of individuals who must be away from the state of Georgia at the time renewal of their license is required. Supporting documentation, a completed application and payment of fee, if required, must be submitted to verify that the applicant is eligible to renew in this manner. This service is available to the following groups: customers stationed out of state on active military duty, their spouse and any dependents living with them. Full-time students attending school outside Georgia, their spouse and any dependents living with them. Customers who are physically incapacitated and unable to visit a DDS customer service center may be issued an ID card only. This service is subject to the following restrictions. The renewal will be granted for an 8-year renewal period, at the end of which the license holder must appear in person for renewal. A driver's license that has been expired for 2 or more years cannot be renewed by mail. Changes, name, address, etc., must be made in person at a DDS customer service center. Changes cannot be made using the mail method of renewal. Customers who choose to renew their license in this manner will not receive a secure DL/ID. To download the application package and complete instructions, please visit our website at dds.georgia.gov. License, permit, or identification card number changes. No licenses or identification cards may be issued in Georgia with a Social Security number as the document number. If your license, permit or identification card number is identical to your Social Security number, a randomly generated document number will be assigned to your document during the issuance renewal process. Once your number has changed, you will need to ensure that any companies or entities using your driver's license, permit, or identification card number for tracking or verification purposes, such as insurance companies, are aware of this change. Lost or stolen license replacement. Customers may apply for a replacement driver's license and/or ID card at a local DDS customer service center or online. If you choose to apply online, you will go through an authentication process in order to verify identity. If you wish to apply at a DDS customer service center, you will be required to show proof of identity. The fee online and at a DDS customer service center is $5. The following documents will be acceptable proof of identity for a replacement Georgia driver's license, permit or identification card. One of these documents. Original birth certificate. Hospital certificates are not acceptable. Certified copy of birth certificate with raised or impressed seal. Certificate of naturalization or certificate of citizenship. Expired Georgia driver's license, permit or identification card. U.S. passport or passport card that is valid or expired less than 10 years. Consular report of birth abroad. Expired Georgia interim. Non-U.S. citizens. Valid foreign passport with valid I-94. Valid permanent resident card, I-551. Valid employment authorization card, I-766 or I-688A or I-688B, with proof of pending application to adjust status. Or TWO of these documents, only if replacing license, permit, or ID card. Social Security card, original or copy. Original or certified copy of marriage certificate. Previous year's income tax return or W-2. Current auto, home, life or health insurance policy, cards not accepted. Current auto registration receipt. Voter registration card. Valid or expired military ID card and/or military orders. Valid Georgia gun permit. If your license was stolen and you wish to change the number on your replacement Georgia driver's license, permit or identification card, you will be required to present a police report indicating that the license was stolen unless your license number and your Social Security number are the same. If the two numbers are the same, no police report is required. Address change. You must update your record with DDS anytime your address changes. DDS correspondence will not be forwarded to new addresses by the U.S. Postal Service. If you have moved, you must visit a DDS customer service center within 60 days to update your mailing and/or residential address, or you may visit our website at dds.georgia.gov to change your address. If you change your address in person, you must provide proof of the change in address. If you change your address online, your new address will be verified through USPS. Name change. Name changes must be completed in person at a DDS customer service center. If you change your name by marriage or other legal action, you must obtain a new license showing the correct name within 60 days. A free replacement license valid for the current term will be issued once in a license term. In order to change your name on your license or identification card, you must present a certified copy of a marriage license application. If the marriage occurred in Georgia, marriage license, state-issued marriage certificate, or court-ordered name change. You may change to a hyphenated surname on your license or identification card if the marriage occurred in the state of Georgia on or after November 1, 1982. A certified copy of the marriage license application reflecting the selection of the hyphenated surname must be presented at the time of the request. Motor Vehicle Reports, MVR. MVRs are available in 3-year, 7-year, or lifetime formats. A 3-year report is $6. A 7-year report is $8. A lifetime report is $8. Individuals may obtain a copy of their MVR in any of the following ways. 1. Via Internet. A non-certified copy of your motor vehicle report, MVR, can be downloaded by using DDS online services. Please visit dds.georgia.gov for further details. You will be required to create an account if you have not already done so. 2. In person. A certified copy of your motor vehicle report, MVR, can be purchased in person at any DDS customer service center. Proper identification will be required. If obtaining a motor vehicle report other than your own, the following is required. Completion of the request for MVR form, DDS-18, from the licensee naming the person authorized to receive the record, including the full name, date of birth, and Georgia driver's license number of the licensee. The person receiving the report for another individual must also show proper identification. 3. Via mail. You can obtain a certified copy of your MVR by submitting the request for MVR form, DDS-18, or a letter requesting either a 3-year, 7-year, or lifetime MVR, including the following. Your full name as it appears in your driver's license. Driver's license number. Date of birth, and complete mailing address. Requests may be mailed to Georgia Department of Driver Services, MVR Request, Post Office Box 80447 Conyers, Georgia 30013. When requesting a MVR, please include a money order, cashier's check, or personal check made payable to the Department of Driver Services in the amount of $6 for a 3-year or $8 for a 7-year or lifetime MVR. Selective Service Registration. At the time of any license or identification card transaction, DDS is required to ask males age 18 whether they have registered with the U.S. Selective Service System and to report the responses to the U.S. Selective Service System. Blindness donation. When you obtain your driver's license, permit, or ID, you will have the opportunity to make a voluntary donation of $1 to Georgia's blindness education, screening, and treatment program, which is administered by the Georgia Department of Public Health. Donations currently fund vision programs which provide screenings to save children's vision, eye exams for needy adults, training for people who have lost vision, and public education about eye donation. Your voluntary donation will be added to the total cost of your service. Organ and tissue donation. The Donate Life Georgia Organ, Tissue and Eye Donor Registry was created in 2008 to allow Georgians an easy and user-friendly means of joining the state's donor registry. Georgians can join the registry through the website at www.donatelifegeorgia.org, when renewing their driver license or ID online, or when renewing their license or ID at a local DDS customer service center. You can also join the donor registry by calling Donate Life Georgia directly at 1-866-57-SHARE, 1-866-577-4273, and requesting a donor registry form. Other things to remember. Organ donation can occur only after every measure has been taken to save your life, and only after death has been legally and medically declared. Georgia law prohibits the physician who declares a patient dead from participating in the removal or transplantation of that patient's donated organs or tissues. There is no cost to the donor's family for any expenses related to organ tissue, eye donation. Also, there is no delay in funeral arrangements. Georgia law requires hospitals to notify an organ, tissue, eye recovery center when a donation is possible. Recipients are selected by urgency of need, compatibility of blood type, body size, and tissue type, regardless of sex, race or creed. More information concerning organ and tissue donation can be found at www.organdonor.gov. GSFA donation. DDS offers the opportunity to make a voluntary charitable contribution of $1, $5, or $10 to the Georgia Student Finance Authority, GSFA, during the license issuance or renewal process. Pursuant to HB 54, 2016, this donation will help to provide financial assistance toward the post-secondary educational costs of the children of law enforcement officers, firefighters, paramedics, emergency medical technicians, and prison guards employed by the state or other public employer who were permanently disabled or killed in the line of duty. The children of highway emergency response operators who were permanently disabled or killed in the line of duty are also included. Voter registration. Customers who are U.S. citizens at least 17.5 years old will have an opportunity to apply for voter registration during any license or identification card transaction. When this option is selected, the application is submitted to the voter registration office in the customer's county of residence. Important points regarding voter registration through DDS. If you do not receive your voter registration card within 30 days, contact your county voter registration office to determine the status of your application. Choosing this option does not guarantee that your voter registration information will be processed in time to meet specific election deadlines. If you want to register to vote for a particular election, please contact your county voter registration office to ensure that your most current registration information is recorded prior to the applicable voter registration deadline. Visit http://sos.ga.gov/index.php/elections for more information. Section 5. Traffic laws. 3 most basic traffic laws. The 3 most basic TRAF-C laws require drivers to 1. Obey TRAF-C control devices, lights and signs. 2. Obey the TRAF-C directions of a law enforcement of CER or RE-GHTER, even if it goes against what the TRAF-C control devices tell you to do. 3. Never drive on a roadway that has been closed for construction, for the purpose of a special event, or for any other of CAL reason. Traffic laws are necessary to prevent crashes by defining the orderly movement of vehicles, pedestrians, and other users of public highways. Remember, traffic laws exist for your safety. Failure to obey them can result in crashes that may seriously injure or kill you or others. To obey the laws, you must first know and understand them. Laws governing right-of-way. Right-of-way is a phrase used to describe who has the lawful authority to enter a roadway, change lanes within a roadway, make a turn from a roadway, travel through an intersection, or make any other traffic-related movement. Georgia law establishes right-of-way in all situations. Vehicle drivers, including bicyclists, and pedestrians should always understand the rules related to right-of-way, and remember that right-of-way is something to be given, not taken. There may be instances in which you as a driver or pedestrian have the legal right-of-way over someone else, even though the other person does not realize it and is not obeying the rules of the road. In those instances, the right-of-way should be yielded in order to prevent a crash. The following is a list of the most common situations in which right-of-way questions are faced in real life. When traveling on a roadway that intersects with another roadway, if you are faced with a stop sign, but other traffic is not, you may proceed only after stopping and yielding the right-of-way to any other vehicle or pedestrian either in the intersection, or so close to the intersection as to make it dangerous to travel through the intersection. At intersections where there are no stop signs, yield signs or other traffic signals, if 2 vehicles come to the intersection at the same time, the driver of the vehicle on the left must yield to the driver of the vehicle on the right. At a 4-way intersection where all drivers are faced with stop signs, all drivers must yield to pedestrians. Otherwise, the vehicles should proceed through the intersection in a first-to-arrive, first-to-proceed order. If 2 vehicles reach the intersection at approximately the same time, yield to any vehicles and your right. Important points to remember. Take your turn when it comes if it is safe to do so. Do not unnecessarily delay traffic. If another driver tries to take your turn, even if you have the right of way, let the other driver proceed. It might prevent a traffic crash. Care, courtesy and common sense should govern your actions. When making a left turn at an intersection, or into an alley or driveway, yield the right-of-way to all traffic coming from the opposite direction. When approaching a yield sign, slow down to a safe speed and be prepared to stop. If necessary, stop and only proceed when it is safe to do so. When the roadway you are traveling on is merging into other traffic without stopping, adjust your speed and vehicle position to allow you to merge into the new lane safely. If traffic from another roadway is merging into the roadway you are traveling on, safely change lanes away from the merging traffic if possible. If it is not possible to change lanes away from the merging traffic, adjust your speed and vehicle position to safely allow the traffic to merge. At intersections with traffic control lights, wait until the intersection is clear of traffic or approaching traffic before entering. Do not proceed just because you have the green light. If you are about to enter or cross a highway from an alley, private road or highway, you must stop and yield the right of way to all other pedestrians and vehicles already traveling on the roadway or sidewalk you are entering or crossing. If emergency vehicles are using their emergency lights, blue or red, and sirens, safely maneuver your vehicle out of their way. You should slow your vehicle and move over to the shoulder of the road, or if that is not possible, as far to the right of the roadway or lane as you can, and stop. You should always use caution to ensure that you do not endanger other motorists, bicyclists, or pedestrians while doing so. Do not position your vehicle so that it blocks an intersection or otherwise prevents the emergency vehicle from making a necessary turn. Yield to all highway maintenance vehicles and workers in a construction zone. Unless a sign posted at that intersection prohibits doing so, it is permissible to make a right turn on red at an intersection controlled by a traffic control light. You may proceed only after making a complete stop, yielding to all traffic and pedestrians, and making the determination that you can safely complete the turn. Unless a sign posted at that intersection prohibits doing so, it is permissible to make a left turn on red from the left lane of a one-way street onto a one-way street on which the traffic moves toward the driver's left. You may proceed only after making a complete stop, yielding to all traffic and stopping for pedestrians, and making the determination that you can safely complete the turn. When a school bus is preparing to stop to load or unload children, the driver of the bus will activate flashing yellow lights. When these flashing yellow lights are activated, all drivers approaching the school bus should slow down and be prepared to stop. All drivers should pay special attention to children who may be walking along or crossing the roadway. Once the flashing lights have turned red and the stop signs have extended from the side of the bus, it is unlawful for any vehicle to pass the stopped school bus while it is loading or unloading passengers. On a highway divided by a median, cars traveling on the opposite side from the stopped school bus are not required to stop. However, drivers should remain attentive for children walking along or crossing the roadway. Passing. How to pass on a two-lane road. Wait for a passing zone to begin. A passing zone is indicated by striped lines to the right of the center line of the roadway. If the line nearest your vehicle is solid, you are not in a passing zone. Look ahead along the roadway to determine the length of the passing zone and if there is traffic approaching from the opposite direction. You must have sufficient time and space to execute your passing maneuver and return your vehicle completely to the right lane before the passing zone ends, before entering an intersection, and before oncoming traffic is within 200 feet of your vehicle. Before leaving your lane to begin passing, check your rear view and side mirrors, and turn your head and look back to check your blind spot. Be certain that no one is passing you. Activate your left turn signal as you begin passing. Pass on the left and do not return to the right lane until your vehicle is safely clear of the overtaken vehicle. Wait until you can see the car you have just passed in your rear view mirror. Activate your right turn signal before returning to the right lane. Be sure to turn your signal off once you have returned to the right lane. Passing is prohibited on two-lane roads. In areas marked by a solid yellow line on the right of the center line, or a do not pass sign, or double yellow lines. Within 100 feet of a railroad crossing. Within 100 feet of a bridge, viaduct or tunnel. When a car approaching from the opposite direction makes passing unsafe or will be within 200 feet of your vehicle prior to the completion of a passing maneuver. On a hill or curve where it is not possible to see oncoming vehicles which might be close enough to be a hazard. On the shoulder of the road. When a school bus is stopped to load or unload passengers. Passing is permitted when lawfully overtaking and passing another vehicle going in the same direction. An obstruction makes it necessary to drive to the left of the center line, but only after yielding to oncoming traffic. A roadway includes two or more marked lanes in the same direction. A roadway with more than one lane is restricted to one-way traffic. Upon a multi-lane, two-way highway, you must never drive to the left of the center line except when authorized to do so by traffic control signals or signs or when making a left turn into an alley, private road or driveway. Passing on the right. You may pass on the right of another vehicle which is making or about to make a left turn if there is sufficient pavement width for both your vehicle and the vehicle making the left turn. You may also pass on the right when traveling on a multi-lane highway carrying two or more lanes of traffic in the same direction. When someone passes you. When a driver behind you is overtaking your vehicle, be alert for any unsafe actions by the other driver. It is considered courteous to reduce your speed slightly, making it easier for the other vehicle to pass you. It is unlawful to increase your speed before you have been passed completely by the overtaking vehicle. Passing stopped cars. Whenever any vehicle is stopped to permit a pedestrian to cross the roadway at a marked crosswalk or at any unmarked crosswalk at an intersection, the driver of any other vehicle approaching from the rear shall not overtake and pass the stopped vehicle. When stopping to allow a pedestrian to cross in front of you, leave sufficient room between your vehicle and the crosswalk so that approaching traffic can see the entirety of the crosswalk. Slow down and prepare to stop if you are approaching an intersection where other vehicles are stopped, even though the traffic control devices indicate they are authorized to proceed. If they are stopped because they are allowing a pedestrian to cross the roadway, their vehicle may block your view of the pedestrian. Passing bicyclists. Bicyclists have the same rights and responsibilities on the road as motorists. Bicyclists are permitted to travel in the center of the traffic lane if there are safety hazards on the right side of the road, such as parked cars or debris, or if the lane is too narrow for a bicycle and a vehicle to share. Pass bicyclists with caution, treating them as you would any other vehicle and according to Georgia law. The law requires a driver to allow at least 3 feet between the driver and bicyclist when passing. If it is not safe to leave 3 feet of space, the driver should wait until it is safe to pass the bicyclist. Bicycle lanes are not passing lanes and should never be used to pass another motor vehicle. Passing motorcyclists. A motorcyclist legally occupies the full width of a single lane when traveling. When passing a motorcyclist, a driver must pass in an adjacent lane. Drivers are not permitted to occupy the same lane as a motorcyclist while passing them. Weaving. It is unlawful to weave from one lane of traffic to another in order to move faster than the flow of traffic. A motorist may change lanes on a multi-lane highway and pass slower-moving vehicles only when it is safe to do so. A driver's signaling to change lanes should be clearly indicated so as to warn vehicles of the movement. Turn signals and making turns safely. Turn movements by motor vehicles are regulated by law, and failure to observe or comply is a violation. Drivers must know and understand the law in order to turn safely and avoid crashes. A turn signal must be given whenever a turn is made to the right or the left. You must give a continuous turn signal for an adequate distance to alert other drivers before turning. Never decide to make a turn at the last minute. Turning quickly or erratically can be dangerous to you and other drivers. Illegal signals. It is against the law to flash turn signals as a courtesy or do pass signal to other drivers in the rear. How to make a right turn. Using appropriate signals, and giving drivers ahead of and behind you adequate notice, activate your right turn signal. Approach the intersection in the right lane, staying as close as practicable to the curb or edge of the roadway. If there is a bicycle lane on the road on which you are traveling, you must yield to bicyclists traveling straight through the intersection before making a right turn. Make the turn in such a way as to end up in the right lane of the street into which you have turned and avoid entering any other lane of traffic. If there are multiple turning lanes on the street you are turning from, complete the turn so that your vehicle ends up in the corresponding lane on the street you are turning onto. How to make a left turn. Using appropriate signals, and giving drivers ahead of and behind you adequate notice, activate your left turn signal. Move into the far left lane of the direction in which you are traveling, or into the turning lane if one is provided. Keep your wheels straight until you begin making the turn. Yield the right of way to all vehicles, including bicycles, which are approaching from the opposite direction, and pedestrians crossing either roadway. When safe to do so, and when traffic signals, signs permit, make your turn so that your vehicle ends up in the lane closest to the center lane in your direction of traffic on the street you turned onto, or closest to the center line if there is no center lane. If there are multiple turning lanes on the street you are turning from, complete the turn so that your vehicle ends up in the corresponding lane on the street you are turning onto. Once you have entered an intersection to make a left turn, you cannot change lanes in the intersection. You must stop and remain stopped for any pedestrians in the crosswalk of the road you are turning onto until they have cleared the lanes of traffic that you are traveling on. Watching for pedestrians when making turns. At most intersections where there is a pedestrian signal, The walk signal of the crossing street corresponds to the green light of the roadway you are traveling on. This means that when you are authorized to turn, pedestrians are authorized to cross the street onto which you are turning at the same time. Therefore, before making your turn, you must stop and remain stopped for any pedestrians in the crosswalk of the road onto which you wish to turn until they have cleared the lanes of traffic upon which you are traveling. U-turns. Do not make a U-turn on a curve or near the top of a hill if you cannot be seen by other drivers approaching from either direction. Do not make a U-turn where signs prohibit doing so. Making turns on multi-lane highways. On a multi-lane, two-way highway, you must never drive to the left of the centerline except when making a left turn. If traffic control signals or signs are present, you may only complete the turn when authorized to do so by the traffic control signals or signs. When making left turns, you must always yield to oncoming traffic, and wait for pedestrians to clear the lanes of traffic, driveway, sidewalk, or alley you are turning into. Stopping, standing, and parking. It is against the law to park on a highway. If the vehicle is disabled, you should make every practical effort to park off the highway, leaving free passage and a clear view of your vehicle for 200 feet in each direction. Stopping, standing, or parking is not permitted under the following conditions at any time: on the street side of any parked vehicle, on a sidewalk, within an intersection, on a crosswalk, between a safety zone and the adjacent curb, alongside or opposite any street excavation or obstruction when stopping, standing, or parking would obstruct traffic, upon a bridge or overpass, or within a highway tunnel, on any railroad tracks, on a controlled access roadway, in the area between roadways on a divided highway, including crossovers, at any place marked by a no parking sign. Stopping, standing, or parking is permitted only momentarily to pick up or drop off passengers under the following conditions: in front of a public or private driveway, within 15 feet of a fire hydrant, within 20 feet of a crosswalk at an intersection, within 30 feet of a stop sign, yield sign, or traffic control signal, within 20 feet of a fire station driveway, within 75 feet of the spot across the street from a fire station driveway, within 50 feet of a railroad crossing, at any place where official signs prohibit standing. Steps to parallel parking. When attempting to parallel park, drive past the parking space you wish to use and stop when you are approximately even with the car ahead of the space. You should be approximately 2 feet from the other car, door to door. Turn your wheels sharply to the right and back slowly toward the car behind the space you wish to use. As your front door passes the back bumper of the car ahead of the space you wish to use, quickly straighten your wheels and continue to back diagonally into the space in a straight line. When your front bumper is completely clear of the car ahead of you, turn your wheels sharply to the left and back slowly toward the car behind you. Stop before making contact with the car behind you. Place the car in drive. Turn your wheels sharply to the right and pull toward the center of the parking space. Always give the appropriate turn signal prior to beginning your parking maneuver and when you exit from a parallel parking space. Backing up. Before backing, check all sides of your vehicle to make sure it is safe to do so. You should turn your head and look over your right shoulder while backing. Do not depend on your mirrors. For buses and large vehicles, the driver should use all mirrors and utilize a reliable person to observe and direct while backing the vehicle. Traveling speed. Super speeder. Any driver convicted of speeding 75 miles per hour or more on a 2-lane road or 85 miles per hour or more on any road in Georgia will be assessed a $200 state fee. The state fee will be in addition to any local fines imposed in the jurisdiction where the speeding offense occurs. Failure to pay the state fee on time will result in a license suspension and additional $50 reinstatement fee. Speed limits. Maximum traveling speeds are determined based in the following general rules in Georgia unless otherwise posted. 30 miles per hour in any urban or residential district. 35 miles per hour on an unpaved county road. 70 miles per hour on a rural interstate. 65 miles per hour on an urban interstate or on a multi-lane divided highway. 55 miles per hour in all other areas. These are only general rules. Local jurisdictions, the Georgia Department of Transportation, or the Georgia Department of Public Safety may deem it necessary to adjust speed limits based on local conditions, whether temporary or permanent. Always watch for speed limit signs while driving. Some areas, such as school zones or construction zones, may be posted for lower maximum speed limits at certain times of the day or for a short period of time. It is important to pay close attention to road signs while driving to ensure that when you approach a speed zone, whether temporary or permanent, you will have sufficient time to adjust your speed accordingly. Driving too slowly. Drivers are prohibited from driving a motor vehicle at such a slow speed as to impede the normal and reasonable movement of traffic except when a reduced speed is necessary for safe operation. On roads with 2 or more lanes, drivers cannot continue to operate a motor vehicle in the passing lane if that driver is being overtaken by a motor vehicle traveling at a higher rate of speed from behind. Penalties include fines up to $1,000 and/or 3 points on the driving record. When there are 2 or more lanes for traffic moving in the same direction, slower vehicles should use the right lane except when passing or making a left turn. Driving too slowly is dangerous because it impedes the regular flow of traffic. Minimum speed limits are posted on certain highways. If you are unable to drive at the minimum speed, you should seek an alternate route. Railroad crossings. You must always stop within 50 feet, but not less than 15 feet, from the nearest rail of a railroad crossing when any of the following apply. The signal is flashing. The crossing gates are lowered. A flagman is giving a signal. A train is approaching so closely as to create an immediate hazard. A train gives a warning signal and is an immediate hazard due to its speed or nearness to the crossing. A stop sign is posted. Under no circumstances should a motorist drive through, around or under any crossing gate while the gate is lowered. After stopping, remain stopped until all tracks are clear, all railroad crossing warning signals stop flashing, the crossing gates are raised, and it is safe to proceed. 7 steps for safety at highway rail grade crossings. 1. Approach with care. 2. Prepare to stop. 3. Look both ways and listen carefully. 4. If it won't fit, don't commit. Do not enter a crossing unless you can drive completely through without stopping. 5. Look again. 6. Cross tracks with care. 7. Keep going once you start. If your vehicle stalls on the tracks, do the following. Get out immediately. Move away. Locate emergency notification systems, ENS, sign containing emergency contact information. Call for help. Tell them a vehicle is on the tracks. Highway work zones. In an effort to minimize inconvenience, the Georgia Department of Transportation, GDOT, conducts most road construction and maintenance without closing roads to traffic. This poses a traffic hazard to drivers and their passengers, as well as the crew members working on the road. Over half of all fatal injuries to road workers are caused by being struck by a motor vehicle, and a third of these by vehicles intruding into the workspace. Since 1973, 60 GDOT workers have lost their lives in work zones. However, motorists are more likely to be killed or injured in work zone crashes than GDOT workers. The general public accounts for 82% of work zone fatalities nationwide. Highway work zones are defined as portions of a highway or street where construction, reconstruction, or maintenance work is being done to the road, its shoulders, or any other areas near the roadway. This definition also includes mobile work such as underground and overhead utility maintenance, snow removal, and land surveying activities. Highway work zones are set up according to the type of road and the work to be done on the road. Signing, roadway markings, and flaggers are used to direct drivers safely through work zones or carefully marked detours. Motorists are responsible for knowing how to read and react to these directions. Paying attention and driving cautiously and courteously are the most important steps to preventing crashes while driving through a work zone. Watch for the color orange. It means road work. Obey the signs. Warning signs in work zones have an orange background and black letters or symbols. They are used with other traffic control devices or flaggers to help direct traffic safely through work areas and to protect drivers, their passengers, and highway workers. Reduce your speed. For safety reasons, the speed limit in most work zones is reduced. If the speed limit is not reduced in a work zone, drivers should obey the normal posted speed limit for the road on which they are traveling, but be more cautious of road conditions, lane position, and the presence of workers. Advisory speed limits are used to identify safe speeds for specific conditions within a work zone. These black and orange signs are always used with warning signs. Official speed limit reduction requirements will be indicated with the standard black and white speed limit signs. Motorists who disobey regulatory speed limits in a work zone may be found guilty of a misdemeanor of a high and aggravated nature and will be punished by a fine of not less than $100 nor more than $2,000, or by imprisonment for a term not to exceed 12 months, or both. Obey flaggers. Flaggers are people used to direct traffic through and around work zones. In a work zone, a flagger has the same authority as a regulatory sign. Do not disobey a flagger's traffic control directions. Yield to amber lights in work zones. Work vehicles and heavy equipment will typically have flashing or revolving amber lights. You must yield the right of way to these vehicles. Reduce your speed as you approach any work zone where vehicles have amber lights displayed. Adjust your lane position. Travel lanes are likely to be closed in work zones, and lane patterns may change as the work progresses. Sometimes, workers must operate within inches or feet of an open lane of traffic. When lanes are closed or narrowed, or workers are operating on the roadway near traffic, change lanes away from them if possible or shift slightly within the boundaries of your lane to give added distance between your vehicle and the workers. This will provide extra protection for you, your passengers, and the workers along the roadway. Yield to mobile work vehicles. Some road work can be performed without actually closing lanes of travel. Pavement maintenance, debris removal, paint striping, utility work, and snow removal are examples of work accomplished while moving in traffic. Vehicles used in performing this type of work will have flashing amber lights and may have flashing arrows directing traffic to merge left or right. The vehicles may also display signs for the purpose of directing traffic or indicating hazardous conditions. These vehicles usually work at very slow speeds, such as 5 miles per hour, and may occasionally be stationary in the roadway. For your safety, and the safety of others, slow down, yield the right of way to these work vehicles, and follow any directions displayed by the work vehicles. Other laws. Controlled access roadways. You are prohibited from entering or leaving any controlled access roadway at unauthorized entrances or exits. Certain types of vehicles may be prohibited on controlled access roadways if signs are posted to this effect. Backing up is prohibited on controlled access roadways. An example of a controlled access roadway includes any tolled facility in Georgia, such as the I-85 express lanes or the reversible I-75 express lanes. Tolled lanes in Georgia require motorists to mount a registered PeachPass transponder in their vehicle in order to access the lanes. PeachPass can also be used in Florida and North Carolina. Registered owners of the vehicle that enters the tolled lane without an active PeachPass will receive a violation notice in the mail. You are prohibited from entering the reversible express lanes when the access control gates are closed or closing. Coasting. The driver of any motor vehicle, when traveling down a hill, must not coast with the gears or transmission of the vehicle in neutral. Driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol. It is unlawful for any person to operate a motor vehicle while under the influence of alcohol, a drug, prescription or illegal, or any other substance which impairs her ability to safely do so. A person 21 or more years of age is considered under the influence of alcohol when 0.08 gm or more by alcohol weight is present in the blood. A person under 21 years of age is irrefutably considered under the influence of alcohol when 0.02 gm or more by alcohol weight is present in the blood. Certain drugs or other substances can also make a person irrefutably under the influence. Having a prescription for certain medication is not a defense if the medication impairs your ability to safely operate a motor vehicle. Penalties for driving under the influence of intoxicants are severe, with fines up to $1,000. Jail sentences up to 12 months, and mandatory suspension of your driving privileges. Reckless driving. Reckless driving is defined as driving any vehicle in reckless disregard for the safety of persons or property. Examples of reckless driving include but are not limited to speeding, weaving in and out of traffic, improperly passing, etc. Penalties for reckless driving can include a fine of up to $1,000, imprisonment for up to 12 months, and, if the driver is under 21 years of age, conviction will result in a suspension of all driving privileges. Racing. The following behaviors are considered racing on highways and streets. When two or more people compete or race on any street or highway. When one motor vehicle is beside or to the rear of another driver, and one driver tries to prevent the passing or overtaking of the competing driver by acceleration or maneuver, or when one or more persons compete in a race against time. In Georgia, it is unlawful to drag race. The penalties for committing this violation may include imprisonment and fines, and all driving privileges will be suspended if you are convicted. Aggressive driving. A person commits the offense of aggressive driving when he or she operates any motor vehicle with the intent to annoy, harass, molest, intimidate, injure, or obstruct another person. Examples of aggressive driving include but are not limited to tailgating, cutting in front of another driver, blocking other drivers from passing or changing lanes, etc. A conviction for aggressive driving is considered a misdemeanor of a high and aggravated nature. The penalty for committing this violation may include imprisonment, fines, and, if the driver is under 21 years of age, conviction will result in a suspension of all driving privileges. Hands-free Georgia Law, HB 673. Effective July 1, 2018. Pursuant to 40.6241, c. All drivers operating a motor vehicle on any highway of this state are prohibited from holding or supporting, with any part of the body, a wireless telecommunications device or standalone electronic device. Writing, sending or reading any text-based communication, including a text message, instant message, email or internet data. Watching, recording, or broadcasting a video or movie. Penalties. First conviction 1 point and fine not more than $50. Second conviction 2 points and fine not more than $100. Third or more convictions 3 points and fine nor more than $150. Following emergency vehicles. The driver of any vehicle, other than one on official business, must not follow any firefighting apparatus traveling in response to a fire alarm, or other emergency vehicles, closer than 200 feet, or park any vehicle within 500 feet of any fire apparatus stopped in answer to a fire alarm. Trucks and vehicles pulling trailers. When traveling upon a roadway outside of a business or residential district, drivers of trucks and vehicles pulling trailers must leave sufficient space between themselves and other vehicles of the same kind, so that the driver of an overtaking vehicle can enter and occupy the space without danger. This law prohibits the act commonly known as caravanning. Trailers wider than 8 feet, 6 inches are not permitted on Georgia's highways. Riding in trailers. Riding in a house trailer, or any other vehicular drawn trailer, is not allowed while it is being moved upon a street or highway. There is a high likelihood of injury or death if passengers are unrestrained in the trailer and the vehicle is involved in a crash or the trailer becomes disconnected from the vehicle. Median strip. It is unlawful to drive across a dividing section, barrier, or unpaved strip which separates two roadways at any point other than at an authorized opening or crossover. Impaired hearing and vision. It is unlawful to operate a motor vehicle while wearing a headphone, headset, or any other device which would impair the driver's ability to hear. Also, the driver must not wear anything which would obstruct his or her vision while driving a motor vehicle. Not only is wearing these devices illegal, it is also unsafe. Obstructing the driver's view. If a vehicle is overloaded with passengers or freight so as to obstruct the view of the driver or interfere with the mechanical operation, it cannot be legally driven. Passengers must not ride in a position that interferes with the driver's view or his or her control of the vehicle. Opening vehicle doors. Opening the doors of a vehicle on the side on which traffic is moving is prohibited unless it is safe to do so and unless it can be done without interfering with the movement of other traffic, including bicyclists that may be operating close to the lane of parked cars. One-way streets. Unless directed to by a traffic control device, authorized emergency personnel or construction workers, it is unlawful for a vehicle to be driven contrary to the direction posted on a one-way street or highway, except in situations where police vehicles or authorized emergency vehicles find it necessary to do so. Stopping. When stopping or slowing down suddenly, the proper hand, arm, or brake-operated stop signal must be given. Use headlights properly. Use high-beam headlights only when driving in rural areas and when other cars are not nearby. You must use your headlights between 1/2 hour after sunset to 1/2 hour before sunrise, at any time when it is raining, or when visibility is limited. You should lower your headlights when you are within 500 feet of an approaching vehicle so as not to blind the driver. You are following closely, within 200 feet, behind another vehicle. You are driving on lighted roads. You are driving in rain, fog, snow, or smoke. Your vision is reduced to less than 200 feet. Night driving. Because of decreased vision at night and the glare of oncoming headlights, night driving presents its own unique challenges. Unfamiliar roads and unexpected situations are more likely to cause hazardous driving conditions. You can help ensure safe driving in several ways. Make sure your headlights are working properly and the lenses are kept clean. Periodically have them checked for correct aim, alignment. Don't overdrive your headlights. When traveling at night or in other situations that make the use of headlights necessary for safe travel, do not drive at a speed that requires a stopping time greater than the distance illuminated by your headlights. Slow down when oncoming traffic is approaching or when you are nearing a curve. If visibility is greatly reduced, use the edgeline as a guide to maintaining your lane of travel. If there is no edgeline, use the center line to guide yourself. Keep your windshield clean. Do not drive if you are tired. More frequent stops, more fresh air, lively radio programs and other measures can help you to avoid drowsiness and inattention. Watch carefully for highway signs. They are harder to see at night. Watch carefully for pedestrians and for vehicles stopped along the edge of the road. Do not stop on the roadway. Safety belts. Georgia law states that each occupant in the front seat of a passenger vehicle traveling in Georgia roads and highways must be secured by a seat safety belt, lap and shoulder. All occupants of any passenger vehicle must utilize a seat safety belt if they are under the age of 18. Safety belts are needed because they are the most effective occupant protection in all types of vehicle crashes. According to crash stats from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, seat belts saved 12,802 lives in 2014. Georgia Department of Transportation reports that the risk of fatality in a crash is reduced by about 45% when seat belts are used. Using safety belts correctly is a preventable healthcare habit that helps you keep control of the vehicle, helps keep your head from striking the dash or windshield, helps keep people in the vehicle from hitting each other, helps spread the crash force across the stronger parts of the body, helps protect you from injury, helps keep you from being ejected from the vehicle. When used correctly, safety belts are effective at helping reduce the risk of death or serious injury. Georgia has a primary safety belt law, meaning that officers may stop and cite violators without observing another violation. Safety restraints for children. Every driver transporting a child who is under 8 years of age, except in a taxicab or public transit vehicle, must properly restrain the child in a child passenger restraining system appropriate for the child's height and weight. The restraint system must comply with the United States Department of Transportation Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard 213. Under limited circumstances, a child under 8 may be exempt from this requirement. For further information, contact the Governor's Office of Highway Safety, http://www.gahighwaysafety.org. Distracted driving. Distracted driving is one of the fastest growing safety issues. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, 3,166 people were killed on U.S. roadways in 2017 because of distracted drivers. Distracted driving is doing another activity while driving. This takes the driver's attention away from the primary task of driving and increases the risk of crashing. Common distractions include but are not limited to talking on a cell phone, texting, reading, eating, grooming, using a navigation device, and adjusting the stereo system. The presence of passengers and pets can also increase crash risk. Georgia law requires drivers to exercise due care in operating a motor vehicle and prohibits any action that distracts the driver from the safe operation of such vehicle. Section 6. Teen driving laws. In 1997, the Teenage and Adult Driver Responsibility Act, TADRA, established a graduated driver's licensing program for teens ages 15 to 18 in Georgia. This means that teens progress through a licensing process in 3 phases. As teens reach a certain age, complete certain requirements, and have demonstrated their ability to safely operate a motor vehicle, they are allowed to progress to the next phase. Successful progression to the next phase also requires a demonstration of responsibility on the part of the teen by avoiding any violations during the term of the license held. TADRA also includes school enrollment requirements and license suspension, revocation provisions for dangerous driving behaviors, for example, DUI, excessive speeding, etc. School enrollment requirements. Obtaining a driver's license or instructional permit. Anyone younger than 18 years of age must present one of the following in order to obtain a driver's license or instructional permit. 1. Certificate of School Enrollment, DS-1 obtained from school personnel. 2. High school diploma. 3. General Education Development, GED. 4. Special diploma. 5. Certificate of high school completion. 6. College or vocational school transcript dated within the last 30 days, official transcript with seal required. 7. Certificate of adult literacy proving pursuit of a GED, available from the Technical College System of Georgia for those currently enrolled in a GED program. 8. Declaration of intent for homeschoolers. Responsible adult requirements. All applicants under 18 years of age must have a responsible adult present to sign the application and complete the responsible adult affidavit. A responsible adult is a person who is 18 years of age or older, competent to verify the application, and has personal knowledge of the applicant. He or she may be a parent or legal guardian of the applicant, must provide school or military documents, tax information or a driver's license, permit, ID card to show relationship to applicant. A social worker who has worked with the applicant must provide an employee ID or a letter from the state agency. Certified driver training instructor authorized to act on behalf of the parent, legal guardian or responsible adult of the applicant with notarized documentation to verify. An employee of a homeless shelter where the applicant resides must provide an employee ID or a letter from the shelter. A step-parent of the applicant must provide a valid marriage license or document reflecting marriage to the biological parent of the applicant. Other persons who can be identified by a state agency or official, school official or certified school records, or documentation from a federal agency or entity. Joshua's Law. Joshua's Law promotes increased teen driving safety. The highlights of Joshua's Law include: approved driver education training required to obtain a Class D provisional license at age 16. Approved driver education training required to obtain a Class M instructional permit, MP, at age 16. You must be 17 years of age to obtain a Class M motorcycle operator's license. The first stage of the graduated licensing program is a Class C instructional permit, CP. Class C instructional permit, CP. For first-time issuance of a Class C instructional permit, CP, you must meet all requirements to obtain a secure DL ID if you have not already done so. See page 10 for requirements. Obtaining a Class C instructional permit, CP. Upon reaching age 15, or anytime thereafter, you may apply for a Class C instructional permit, CP. The following information will help you prepare for your visit to a DDS customer service center. You will be required to present documents verifying your identity, U.S. citizenship or lawful presence, and Georgia residency as explained on pages 10 to 11. You must present proof of your Social Security number or your ineligibility to obtain a Social Security number. See page 10 for a list of acceptable documents. If you are under age 18, you will be required to present proof of school enrollment as explained in this section. If you are under age 18, a parent, legal guardian or responsible adult will have to sign the application, thereby giving their consent for you to obtain a permit. The individual who signs your application may, for any reason, revoke your permit until you reach the age of 18. You will be required to pass a vision test. Your eyes will be tested by means of a mechanical device. You will be required to pass a knowledge exam related to road signs and road rules. Please refer to page 16 for more information related to the knowledge exam. The test fee is $10 and must be paid prior to testing. If any part of the test is failed, no refund will be issued. The permit fee must be paid prior to every testing attempt. Conditions of a Class C instructional permit, CP. Once issued a Class C instructional permit, CP, you may operate any Class C vehicle when accompanied by a person at least 21 years of age who is licensed to drive a Class C vehicle, who is fit and capable of exercising control over the vehicle, and who is occupying a seat beside the driver. Class C instructional permits, CP, are valid for 2 years. Class D provisional license. For first-time issuance of a Class D license, you must meet all requirements to obtain a secure DL/ID if you have not already done so. See pages 10 to 11 for complete requirements. Obtaining a Class D provisional license. Upon reaching the age of 16, and after having held a valid instructional permit for 1 year and 1 day, you may apply for a Class D provisional license. The following information will help you prepare for your visit to a DDS customer service center. You must schedule a road test appointment. You must surrender your Class C instructional permit, CP, or affirm on your application that you were unable to surrender the permit. See pages 19 to 20 for details concerning lost licenses and permits. You will be required to present proof of school enrollment as explained in this section. You must present proof of completion of the Alcohol and Drug Awareness Program, ADAP. This program is taught in most schools, and is also available online. For information about ADAP, you may visit dds.georgia.gov. A parent, legal guardian or responsible adult will have to sign the application, thereby giving their consent for you to obtain a license. The individual who signs your application may, for any reason, revoke your license until you reach the age of 18. You must pass a road test designed to evaluate your ability to safely operate a motor vehicle. See pages 16 to 17 for more information related to the road test. You must satisfy the driver education requirements listed below. Note: teens with parents active in the U.S. military can use an out-of-state driver's education certificate provided that it is within 9 months of their 16th birthday. Driver education requirements. To obtain a Class D license at the age of 16, you must complete a driver education course approved by DDS. An approved driver education course consists of either 30 hours of classroom instruction or completion of an equivalent online virtual course, and 6 hours of on-the-road experience with a certified instructor or completion of the DDS-approved Parent-Teen Driving Guide. You must also have completed a cumulative total of at least 40 hours of other driving experience, including at least 6 hours at night. Completion of the DDS-approved Parent-Teen Driving Guide will serve as an affidavit certifying that this requirement has been met. Note: if the teen obtains the on-the-road component of driver's education from a certified instructor, a separate document affirming that this requirement has been met must be completed at the time of the road test. If you have not completed the driver education requirements, you cannot obtain a Class D license until you reach the age of 17. For information on approved driver education courses and to download the Parent-Teen Driving Guide, see the DDS website, dds.georgia.gov. Conditions of a Class D provisional license. A Class D license holder may not drive between the hours of 12 a.m. and 5 a.m., no exceptions. During the first 6 months following issuance, only immediate family members may ride in the vehicle. Immediate family member includes the driver's parents and step-parents, grandparents, siblings and step-siblings, children, and any other person who resides at the driver's residence. During the second 6 months following issuance, only one passenger under 21 years of age who is not a member of the driver's immediate family may ride in the vehicle. After the first and second 6-month periods, only 3 passengers under 21 years of age who are not members of the driver's immediate family may ride in the vehicle. A Class D license holder must, for the 12 months preceding application for their Class C license, be free from any convictions for major traffic violations that result in the mandatory suspension of a driver's license. Teens moving to Georgia. The following information applies to teens moving to Georgia from another state who wish to obtain a driver's license or permit in Georgia. Under age 18 without a valid license issued by another state. If you do not already hold a valid driver's license or instructional permit issued by another state, you will be subject to the licensing requirements of Georgia residents. Please see the preceding sections for more information. Under age 18 with valid out-of-state license. If you hold a valid driver's license or instructional permit issued by another state, you will normally be eligible to obtain a comparable license issued by Georgia. However, the state of issuance may have requirements for teenage drivers that differ from Georgia. For more information, please call the Customer Contact Center at 678-413-8400. Motorcycle operator's instructional permit or license. Detailed information concerning permit and licensing requirements for motorcycle operators' permits and licenses can be found on the DDS website at dds.georgia.gov. Teens under age 17 must meet the driver education requirements listed on this page to obtain a Class M instructional permit, MP. A Class M motorcycle operator's license is available at age 17. Revocation of minor's license, permit. The parent, legal guardian or responsible adult who signed a minor's application for an instructional permit or driver's license may request revocation of the license or permit at any time prior to the minor's 18th birthday. The person requesting revocation of a minor's instructional permit or driver's license must submit his or her request for the revocation on the form designated by the department. The form requires the person's notarized signature. The person requesting revocation of a minor's instructional permit or driver's license must pay a non-refundable fee of $10. License, permit suspensions. Convictions other than DUI. The state of Georgia applies strict penalties to teens who fail to obey the laws regarding operation of a motor vehicle. The instructional permit or driver's license of any person under 21 years of age convicted of any of the following offenses shall be suspended for a period of 6 months for a first conviction, or for a period of 12 months for a second or subsequent conviction. Hit and run or leaving the scene of a crash. Racing on highways or streets. Using a motor vehicle in fleeing or attempting to elude an officer. Reckless driving. Aggressive driving. Any other offense for which 4 or more points are assessed. Unlawful passing of a school bus. Improper passing on a hill or curve. Exceeding the speed limit by 24 miles per hour or more. The accumulation of 4 or more points in any 12-month period while under 18 years of age. A limited permit may be available only if the suspension resulted from a conviction for speeding 24 to 33 miles per hour over the speed limit and the applicant is at least 18 years old. Convictions for driving under the influence of drugs or alcohol, DUI. First DUI suspension. If your blood alcohol concentration was 0.02 or greater, but less than 0.08, or your implied consent test results were suppressed, or no test was given, your license will be suspended for a minimum period of 6 months, unless you have a previous conviction for an offense in the above list, in which case your license will be suspended for a minimum period of 12 months. If your blood alcohol concentration was 0.08 or greater or you refused implied consent testing, your license will be suspended for a minimum period of 12 months. No limited driving permit is available. Second DUI suspension. Your license will be suspended for a minimum period of 18 months, with ignition interlock permit eligibility after 120 days. Section 7. Signs, signals and markings. Road signs. Note: the full list of signs has been omitted from the audio version of the handbook. Please refer to the printed version of the handbook. You can locate it on the official DMV website or on driving-tests.org. Shapes of signs. The state of Georgia uses 7 basic shapes of signs to convey traffic control instructions. Drivers should know signs by their shapes and colors so that they may recognize them from a distance and begin reacting timely and appropriately. Vertical rectangle signs are generally used for regulatory signs, which tell you what you must do. You must obey them in the same manner as traffic laws. Horizontal rectangle signs are generally used as guide signs. They show locations, directions, or other special information. Diamond-shaped signs warn of existing or possible hazards on roadways or adjacent areas. They are yellow with black words indicating the potential hazard, or black symbols visually describing the potential hazard. An octagon, 8-sided shape, always means stop. When you come to it, you must make a complete stop at a marked stop line. If there is no stop line, stop before the crosswalk on your side of the intersection. If there is no crosswalk, stop at a point from which you can best see oncoming traffic. You must not start again until all pedestrians have finished crossing on the side of the roadway you are traveling on, and you have yielded the right of way to closely approaching traffic. A round sign means you are approaching a railroad crossing. This sign is posted a few hundred feet in front of the tracks and alerts you to slow down, look, listen and prepare to stop. If necessary, roll down a window and listen carefully for an approaching train. If a train is approaching, stop. Do not try to calculate whether you can make it across the track. Never try to beat a train through the intersection. Passing is prohibited at all railroad crossings. Triangle signs mean yield. You must slow down to a speed that is reasonable for existing conditions and stop if necessary. If you must stop, do so at a marked stop line, if it exists. After slowing or stopping, you must yield the right of way to other vehicles in the intersection or approaching closely on another roadway or auxiliary road leading into a major highway. Pentagon-shaped signs mean you are approaching a school zone and/or school crossing. When used, they will be erected not less than 150 feet nor more than 700 feet in advance of the school grounds or school crossing. These signs can sometimes be fluorescent green in color. Regulatory signs. Regulatory signs tell drivers what they may or may not do. Drivers, including bicyclists, must obey them in the same manner as traffic laws. Remember, a red circle with a red slash from upper left to lower right means no. The picture within the circle shows what is prohibited. Warning signs. Warning signs are usually yellow with black markings. Warning signs can also be fluorescent green with black markings. They alert you to conditions that are immediately ahead. There may be road hazards, changes in traffic direction, or some other potentially hazardous situation that requires action on your part. Guide signs. Guide signs may indicate what road you are on, and how to get to your destination. Many guide signs are rectangular, but some have other shapes. There are several different kinds of guide signs: route markers, information, destination, distance, and location signs. These signs may be accompanied by a sign or an arrow, indicating the highway, facility, or location that can be reached by following the signs. Construction and maintenance warning signs. Warning signs for construction and maintenance projects are used to alert you to dangers ahead and give you enough time to adjust your speed accordingly. These signs are orange with black markings. Service signs. While traveling along Georgia's highways, the following blue and white signs will give directions to service facilities. Express lanes. Express lanes offer motorists the option to pay a toll to bypass congestion in certain areas on the interstate. All vehicles with no more than 2 axles or up to 6 wheels can use express lanes if they have a registered Peach Pass. When the vehicle travels through the express lane, the toll amount will automatically be deducted from the pre-established account. There are currently 2 sets of express lanes in Georgia. The I-85 express lanes or HOT lanes along I-85 North in Gwinnett County. They are open 24 hours per day. On the I-85 express lanes, registered transit, 3 or more person carpools, motorcycles, emergency vehicles, and alternative fuel vehicles, AFV, with the proper AFV license plate are allowed to use the lanes toll-free. The I-75 South Metro Express lanes are reversible lanes along 1-75 South in Henry and Clayton counties. Reversible lanes change directions during the day to provide additional travel options during peak travel periods. When the travel direction is being reversed, signs will show the lanes are closed. On the I-75 South Metro Express lanes, all vehicles, including motorcycles and electric vehicles, are required to pay a toll. Public transit buses, registered vanpools and emergency response vehicles may use the lanes toll-free if they have a Peach Pass. Traffic signals and signs. Traffic signals are placed at intersections to control the orderly movement of traffic and to prevent crashes. Drivers, including bicyclists, and pedestrians must obey these signals except when an officer is directing traffic. If a traffic signal is not functioning at all at an intersection, all drivers must treat the intersection as if a stop sign is posted for all directions. If a traffic signal is malfunctioning and flashing, drivers must proceed based in the color of the flashing signal they are facing. If the driver is facing a yellow flashing signal, the driver may proceed with caution. If the driver is facing a red flashing signal, the driver must stop and wait until it is safe to proceed. A red light means you must make a complete stop before entering the crosswalk or intersection and wait until the light turns to green before proceeding. A yellow light warns that the light is changing from green to red. Slow down and prepare to stop. A green light means you may proceed if it is safe to do so after stopping for pedestrians and yielding to vehicles within the intersection. A green arrow means you may proceed carefully only in the direction the arrow is pointing after stopping for pedestrians and yielding to vehicles within the intersection. In this case, you may go straight ahead only. A green arrow, in this case, means you may turn in the direction of the arrow after stopping for pedestrians and yielding to vehicles within the intersection. A yellow arrow may appear after a green arrow and warns you to clear the intersection. A red flashing light means you must stop completely. Treat as you would a stop sign. Proceed with caution only after yielding the right of way to pedestrians and to other vehicles at the intersection. A yellow flashing light means you must slow down and exercise caution before proceeding through the intersection. A flashing yellow arrow means you may turn left after yielding to oncoming traffic and pedestrians. Oncoming traffic still has the green light. Lane control signals. Some roadways are designed to accommodate different traffic demands during the day through the use of a reversible lane system. Pedestrian hybrid beacons, PHB. This signal is known as a pedestrian hybrid beacon, PHB, and it is designed to help pedestrians safely cross busy streets. Pedestrians push a button to activate the overhead beacon and stop road traffic. When WALK appears on the pedestrian signal, pedestrians can cross the street. Dark. The PHB remains dark for traffic unless a pedestrian activates the push button. Flashing. When a pedestrian presses the button, the signal is activated. Approaching drivers will see a flashing yellow signal for a few seconds. Solid yellow. The flashing yellow is followed by a solid yellow signal, indicating drivers should reduce speed and be prepared to stop. Solid red. The solid yellow is followed by double solid red signals, requiring drivers to stop. Flashing red. The double solid red signals are followed by alternating flashing red signals. This requires drivers to come to a full stop, and proceed when pedestrians have cleared the crosswalk. The signal will then go dark until activated again by a pedestrian. Pavement markings. Pavement markings, like highway signs, are used to warn and direct drivers and to regulate traffic. Stop lines. Stop lines are white lines painted across the pavement at intersections indicating the point beyond which your vehicle should not cross if you are stopping for a traffic control device. In urban areas, the line is usually located about 4 feet before the crosswalk. Drivers must come to a complete stop at the stop line, when present, not at the actual stop sign or traffic signal. Crosswalk lines. These white lines are painted across, or partially across the pavement. Sometimes they will be painted in a ladder pattern. When pedestrians are in the crosswalks, they have the right of way over motor vehicles. Crosswalks are sometimes in the middle of a block in residential areas, and in some cases, a pedestrian crossing signal is located at the white line. Railroad crossings. When a road is crossed by a railroad crossing, the pavement is usually marked with a large X and two Rs. At railroad crossings, a yellow line is always placed on the right side of the center line to prevent passing. The crossing is sometimes equipped with control arms and/or emergency lights to warn drivers of approaching trains. The driver of the vehicle must stop if warning signals indicate a train is approaching. Center lines. These are used to separate traffic moving in opposite directions on paved roadways. Broken yellow lines are used when there are only 2 lanes and it is safe to pass in either direction. No passing lines. Single lines. These single, solid yellow lines on 2-lane roads indicate zones where passing is prohibited. They will be located on the right of the broken yellow line when they apply to the lane in which you are traveling. In some instances, both yellow lines will be solid, indicating it is not safe for passing in either direction. Double white lines. These are double white line, dashed or solid pavement markings on roadways that indicate where vehicles can or cannot cross to access the adjacent lane. When the double white lines are dashed, vehicles are allowed to cross over to the adjacent lane. When the double white lines are solid, lane changes are prohibited. Edge lines. These are the solid white lines along the side of the pavement. They serve as safety guides, especially at night when it is difficult to see the edge of the road. A yellow edge line may be used on the left side to warn of narrow or raised medians. Lane lines. These are the white dashes that mark the individual lanes of travel on streets and highways having more than one lane for traffic moving in the same direction. When there are 4 or more lanes with traffic moving in opposite directions, 2 solid yellow lines mark the center of the roadway. You may cross these lines only to make a left turn into or from an alley, private road, driveway, or another street. When traveling on a multi-lane road, stay in the right lane except to pass other vehicles traveling in the same direction. Traffic striping. These markings, created by diagonal yellow lines, are on streets and highways indicating that the road is narrowing or there is an obstruction on the roadway. The area is similar to a triangle with solid yellow diagonal lines within the outside lines. Always keep to the right of these markings. Turn lanes. These lanes, bordered by solid yellow and/or broken yellow lines, is in the center of many streets and highways to make left turns. A motorist desiring to turn left should proceed to the turn lane just prior to making a left turn. Georgia law prohibits the use of this lane for any purpose other than making a left turn. You may enter this lane no more than 300 feet from the location of the left turn. When a turning lane is provided for vehicles traveling in both directions, you should use extreme caution before entering the turning lane to make a left turn. There may be a vehicle traveling in the opposite direction also entering the turning lane to make a left turn. This is especially problematic in congested areas. Bicycle lanes. These are solid white lines typically located between the farthest right traffic lane and the curb or edge of the roadway. If there is a right turn only lane present, the bicycle lane will be located to the left of the right turn only lane in order to safely accommodate bicycles traveling straight through the intersection. Bicycle lanes may also be marked with painted symbols of a bicycle. Drivers of motor vehicles are prohibited from driving or parking in the bicycle lane, except to cross over it to make a turn. When crossing over a bicycle lane to make a turn, motorists must yield to bicyclists that are present. Section 8. Safety guidelines. Traffic laws alone cannot regulate every type of driving situation that may occur. There are some general rules which drivers should understand and follow. Read this chapter with care. Someday these safety tips might help you avoid a crash, serious injury, or even death. These are only general statements and cannot dictate your actions in all situations. It is up to you to evaluate the situation and make a determination as to the best course of action. Entering the car. Develop a routine for entering the car safely and preparing for your trip. If you are parked on the street, enter from the curb side of the vehicle. If this is not possible, wait until your entry can be made with reasonable safety and without interfering with the flow of traffic. Have your keys ready, and approach the vehicle facing traffic. Adjust your seat and mirrors. Check passengers to be sure they are properly seated and do not interfere with your view. Before starting your ignition, fasten your seatbelt and make sure your passengers do the same. After starting your vehicle, check around your vehicle for hazards or approaching traffic, including bicyclists and pedestrians. Give the proper signal and move cautiously into the stream of traffic. Steering. Good posture while driving is important because it allows a better view of hazards and more control of the vehicle. As a general rule, when gripping the steering wheel, place your left hand at the 9 o'clock position and your right hand at the 3 o'clock position on the wheel. Some manufacturers recommend placing your hands at 8 o'clock and 4 o'clock positions when the vehicle is equipped with airbags. Check your owner's manual or contact your vehicle manufacturer to determine which position is best for your vehicle. Always keep both hands on the wheel unless you are safely performing another driving-related task, such as activating your turn signal. Fog. If possible, avoid driving in heavy fog. If you must drive, follow these guidelines. Reduce driving speed. Reduce speed further when you see headlights or red taillights. These indicate the presence of another vehicle and, due to fog, it may be more difficult to accurately judge the distance between your vehicle and others. Dim your headlights. Bright lights produce a glare in heavy fog, actually making it more difficult to see than when using regular headlights. Do not drive with parking or hazard lights on. Hydroplaning. Hydroplaning occurs when there is standing water on a roadway. At speeds up to 35 miles per hour, most tires will channel water away from the tire similar to the way a windshield wiper cleans the windshield. As your speed increases, tires cannot channel the water as well, and your tires may start to lose contact with the road and ride over the water like a set of water skis. In a standard passenger car, partial hydroplaning can begin at speeds as low as 35 miles per hour. At 55 miles per hour, the tires may lose all contact with the road. If this occurs, there is no friction available to brake, accelerate, or steer. It is possible for the vehicle to go into an unpredictable and uncontrollable skid. If this occurs, take your foot off of the accelerator, letting the car slow down. To prevent hydroplaning, maintain good tires with adequate water channeling thread on your vehicle. Most importantly, slow down when there is water on the roadway. Skidding. A car skids when its tires lose their grip on the road surface. When a car skids, both the power that the engine sends to the wheels and the braking ability of the wheels are lost. Slick surfaces can exaggerate normal movements. If brakes are applied too hard, or the wheel is turned too sharp, a skid can occur. If you start to skid, ease your foot off of the accelerator. Begin turning the steering wheel in the direction of the skid. Once you have regained control of the vehicle, you can lightly apply brakes and steer in a safe direction. Remember, the first half hour of rainfall is the most dangerous because roadways become extremely slippery when the water mixes with oil and other chemicals on the road surfaces. Curves. Curves in a roadway are potential sources of hazard for drivers. Because of the maneuvering involved, it is more likely that a less cautious driver may fail to maintain their lane while driving through a curve. When roadways are slick because of rain or other hazards, curves can be especially dangerous and require much lower speeds than when the road is dry. Sharper curves are usually marked with a safe mph sign. Usually less than the posted speed limit, these advisory signs indicate that the reduced speed shown will make driving through a curve safer. Tire pressure. Prior to entering vehicle, check tire pressure using recommended SI located in the door jamb of the vehicle. Use a tire pressure gauge to check your SI. If your SI is above the number listed on your door jamb, let air out until it matches. If below, add air, or have a retailer help you, until it reaches the proper number. You may also measure tread depth using the penny test. Once every month, or before you embark upon a long road trip, check your tires for wear and damage problems. One easy way to check for wear is by using the penny test. 1. Take a penny and hold Abraham Lincoln's body between your thumb and forefinger. 2. Select a point in your tire where the tread appears the lowest and place Lincoln's head into one of the grooves. 3. If any part of Lincoln's head is covered by the tread, you're driving with the legal and safe amount of tread. If your tread gets below that, approximately 2/32 of an inch, your car's ability to grip the road in adverse conditions is greatly reduced. Reduce your speed before entering these curves. If, while driving through the curve, you realize that you are traveling too fast, do not forcefully apply brakes because this may cause your vehicle to skid. Instead, take your foot off the accelerator, carefully apply the brake, and continue steering in the lane of travel. Leaving the roadway. Uneven terrain and obstacles make it difficult to safely maneuver a vehicle once it has left the roadway. Serious injury or death can result from a crash if this happens. To avoid leaving the roadway while driving, pay attention to road conditions. Drive at or below the speed indicated on a regulatory sign or an advisory sign indicating potential hazards. Drive defensively, being mindful of the actions of drivers around you. If your vehicle leaves the roadway, try to follow these guidelines. Don't panic. Take your foot off the accelerator. Grip the steering wheel tightly and be prepared to withstand sudden shocks. Don't hit the brake pedal suddenly and hard. Use your brakes carefully. Don't try to turn back onto the pavement immediately. Overcompensating, jerking the wheel, when returning to the roadway can cause you to lose control of your vehicle by skidding or flipping, or may also cause your car to go into other lanes of traffic. Wait until your speed has reduced, check the traffic, and look for a place to safely return to the roadway by merging into traffic. If necessary, come to a complete stop before re-entering the roadway. Tire blowout. Unlike a slow leak which may cause a tire to go flat over time, a blowout occurs when the tire ruptures and goes flat immediately. If this occurs while your vehicle is in motion, it can cause you to lose control. If you experience a sudden tire blowout, do not panic. Follow these guidelines to maintain control of the vehicle. Apply brakes lightly if necessary and safe to do so. Grasp the steering wheel firmly and take your foot off the accelerator to allow the vehicle to roll to a stop. Do not move to the shoulder of the road until the car has slowed greatly. If the blowout causes the car to swerve onto the shoulder, do not try to get back on the pavement. Let the car coast to a stop. See the guidelines above for what to do when your vehicle leaves the roadway. Winter driving. Winter weather can create many driving hazards. Because of the usually mild climate, most Georgians are not experienced in driving in winter weather. Here are several suggestions to help you drive safely in winter weather. Use chains or snow tires if road conditions require extra traction. Always check the manufacturer's instruction manual for your vehicle, the tires, and the chains before installing them on your vehicle and operating on a roadway. Keep windows clear. Remove snow and ice from all window surfaces before operating the vehicle on a roadway. When you first enter the roadway, and if it is safe to do so, get a feel for the road. Test your brakes gently. Determine how your vehicle will respond to turning the wheel by making slight adjustments. Never apply sudden braking. Instead, slow down gradually before you come to an intersection, make a turn, or stop. Keep a safe distance between you and other vehicles. Reduce speed according to conditions. Watch for hazards or changing road conditions ahead. Tips for safe winter driving. Get your car serviced routinely. Check your battery. Check your cooling system. Fill your windshield washer reservoir. Check your windshield wipers and defrosters. Verify floor mat installation to prevent pedal interference. Inspect your tires. Check the age of your tires. Know your car. Plan your travel and route. Stock your vehicle with necessary tools and supplies. Learn what to do in a winter emergency. Carbon monoxide. Cars produce carbon monoxide, a deadly odorless and colorless gas. Symptoms of carbon monoxide poisoning are sudden weariness, yawning, dizziness, and nausea. Simple precautions to avoid carbon monoxide are: don't leave the car motor running in a garage. Don't leave the car motor running and the windows closed while the car is parked. Don't operate the heater or air conditioner in a parked car with the windows closed. Don't drive with a defective muffler or exhaust system. Move a victim of carbon monoxide poisoning to fresh air, contact emergency medical services, and give artificial respiration if it is necessary and you are trained to do so. Steering locks. Steering locks are anti-theft devices found in most cars manufactured since 1969. Steering locks can cause dangerous situations for drivers who are not familiar with their operation. If a vehicle's ignition is placed in the lock position while the vehicle is in motion, the steering capability of the vehicle will be disabled, and the driver will be unable to steer the vehicle. Further information concerning steering locks is available from the Automobile Safety Foundation at www.carsafe.org. Following too closely. A rear-end crash is caused by following another vehicle too closely. When following another vehicle on any street or highway, there must be enough distance for you to safely stop if the vehicle in front of you suddenly slows down or stops. One way to determine if there is enough distance between your vehicle and the vehicle in front of you is to measure the amount of time between when the vehicle in front of you passes a reference point and when your vehicle passes the same reference point. Watch the car ahead of you. When it passes a reference point, such as a telephone pole or street sign, count 1001, 1002. If you pass the same spot before you are through counting, you are following too closely. During inclement weather, during construction, during heavy traffic, and always at night, the distance between your vehicle and the vehicle in front of you should be even greater. Speed and stopping distance. The distance it takes to stop your vehicle is important in determining a safe driving speed. The chart below may be used as a guide, but actual stopping distance can depend on the following factors in addition to vehicle speed. Mental and physical reaction of the driver. Type and condition of the pavement. Kind of tires and tread composition. Chassis, frame, design. Type of brakes, condition, and balance of brakes. Wind direction and velocity. Speed as a leading factor in serious injury and death as a result of traffic crashes. The greater the speed, the greater the force of impact. The illustration below conveys the relative force of impact when you strike a fixed object. Expressway driving. An expressway differs from normal roads or highways in that access to it is controlled. Vehicles can only enter and exit the expressway at specific places known as interchanges. Most expressways in Georgia are free, but there are a few that require a toll. With the exception of the controlled enter-exit points and HOV lanes, expressways are similar to traveling on a divided highway. There is a median separating traffic traveling in opposite directions. Lanes are marked with dashed lines, and the edge of the roadway is marked with a solid line. Slower traffic should keep to the right, and all traffic laws and guidelines associated with safe driving still apply. Entering expressways. The entrance ramp is a short one-way road that leads to the expressway. From the entrance ramp, you should move into the acceleration lane. This is the lane that runs alongside the main roadway. In the acceleration lane, you can adjust your speed to the speed of the expressway traffic. When safe to do so, you should merge into traffic. Vehicles on the expressway have the right of way, but courteous drivers will permit you to move into the expressway traffic. Exiting expressways. Prepare to exit a controlled access highway by safely moving to the right lane for an exit on the right, or the left lane for an exit on the left. Guide signs will tell you of the approaching exit. At the exit, deceleration lanes are provided for slowing down when leaving the expressway. Posted exit speeds are usually low due to the design of the roadway. Drivers should use either brake lights or a turn signal to indicate a change in speed to the drivers behind if slowing down in the traveling lane when preparing to exit. Use of lanes on expressways. Drivers operating vehicles on divided highways must drive to the right of the median unless directed to do otherwise by a sign, traffic control device, or police officer. Drivers must obey the yellow or white striping on the roadway that indicates lanes, the convergence of lanes, or areas in which vehicles should not operate. Drivers may only access or exit controlled access roadways at designated entrances and exits. GORs. The term GOR means the area of convergence between two lanes of traffic. The GOR is the area, usually similar to a triangle, formed by solid white lines between an existing lane of travel and a merging lane of travel. GORs are most often seen at the convergence of an acceleration lane and the adjacent travel lane on a controlled access highway. The gore is the area bounded by solid white lines between the acceleration lane and the adjacent travel lane. Drivers entering the controlled access highway are prohibited by law from crossing this solid white line, and are required to continue traveling in the acceleration lane until the solid white line disappears. HOV lanes. High occupancy vehicle (HOV) lanes are travel lanes that are restricted to vehicles with more than one occupant, buses, motorcycles, and vehicles with alternative fuel vehicle license plates. The lanes are marked with a diamond symbol and the hours of restriction are posted. The penalty for violating HOV lane restrictions is a fine up to $75 for a first offense, up to $100 for a second offense, up to $150 for a third offense, and up to $150 plus 1 point added to the violator's driving record for a fourth or subsequent offense. HOT lanes. High occupancy toll (HOT) lanes are I-85 express lanes that allow registered transit, 3 or more person carpool, motorcycles, emergency vehicles, and alternative fuel vehicles to use the lanes toll-free. Tips for expressway driving. Plan your trip carefully. Mark the map to indicate all entrances, service areas, and exits you plan to use. Doing these things will help you to have a safe, fast, and pleasant journey. You can check the website www.511ga.org for road construction, road closures, exit numbers, and other information to help plan your trip. Check your car before you start. Because expressways are designed for faster and smoother flowing traffic, there are fewer places to exit. It is important to check your gasoline gauge and make sure you have enough fuel. Also check the water, oil, and tires of your vehicle. Be alert. Use your rear view mirror and side mirror to constantly check the traffic around you. Always make visual traffic checks before you change lanes. Stay out of another driver's blind spot. Traveling in a position where the driver ahead of you cannot observe your vehicle in the rear view or side mirrors is a dangerous practice. The driver might pull out in front of you to pass a car. Either stay far enough behind so that the other driver can see you, or pass the vehicle. This is especially true for driving near large vehicles. Tractor-trailer combinations, also known as 18-wheelers, are limited in their visibility because of their size. Use turn signals. Be sure to activate your right or left turn signal to indicate that you are changing lanes before you begin the maneuver. Allow plenty of room when passing. Returning to your lane of travel before you have passed another vehicle and provided enough safe distance between the two can cause a crash. Carefully check the left lane behind you before pulling out to pass. Don't pull back into the right-hand lane until you can see the car that you just passed clearly in your rear-view mirror. Always obey the posted maximum and minimum speed limits. These laws exist to regulate the flow of traffic and to create a safe environment for all drivers. In metro areas, expressways will usually have a dramatically increased amount of traffic during the hours that most drivers are traveling to and from their places of employment. The number of cars on the expressway during this time will lead to delays. During this time, drivers should be particularly cautious. Driving defensively, allowing a safe distance between vehicles, and obeying all traffic control signs and devices can help ensure a safe commute. Don't back up. Driving in reverse on an expressway is prohibited under any circumstances. Stopping on the expressway is prohibited. You will find rest areas and service signs at frequent intervals. Use them. Stopping on the roadway shoulder is highly dangerous and permitted only in an emergency. Switching drivers, stretching, or retrieving an item from the back of the vehicle is not considered an emergency. If it is necessary to stop, raise the hood and activate your hazard lights to indicate difficulty. Don't walk along the expressway in search of help. Drowsiness and fatigue is a danger anytime you drive, but is especially dangerous on long trips along the expressway. Stop driving if you feel drowsy. Don't rely on stimulant drugs, also called stay-awake drugs. They are likely to make your driving even more hazardous. Expressway drivers are subject to highway hypnosis, a condition of drowsiness or unawareness brought on by monotony, the sound of the wind, the tires on the pavement, and the steady hum of the engine. On long trips, it is a good idea to exercise your eyes to help keep you alert. Keep shifting your eyes from one area of the roadway to another and focus on various objects, both near and far, left and right. Conversation with other passengers and lively radio programs may also help you remain more alert. Of course, Always pay attention to the traffic around you and potentially hazardous highway conditions. Drive defensively. The key to defensive driving is awareness. You must keep your eyes moving so that you can keep track of what is happening around you at all times. Avoid staring at the center line on the roadway. Instead, look ahead for trouble spots which may endanger you or your passengers. A defensive driver will also frequently check the rear view and side mirrors to keep abreast of the traffic and road conditions to the rear and sides. Never trust other drivers to do what you think they are going to do or what you think they should do in a particular situation. The fact that a left turn signal is flashing does not necessarily mean that the driver is going to make a left turn. You should constantly be thinking of an escape route as you drive. For example, if you are approaching a curve, you should be looking closely at the shoulder and nearby area to determine what you would do if a car approaching from the other direction crosses to your side of the road. After a little practice, this will become more instinctive. Protecting the air. The operation of motor vehicles has a significant impact in Georgia's air quality. Emissions from cars and light-duty trucks contribute to the formation of ground-level ozone, a component of urban smog. Vehicle emissions can react with sunlight at high temperatures to produce unhealthy levels of this form of air pollution. This is especially true during warm weather. Vehicle emissions and ground-level ozone can be reduced by proper vehicle maintenance in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions, and by fewer trips and vehicle miles traveled. In the 13-county metro Atlanta area, gasoline-powered cars and light-duty trucks that are less than 25 model years old must pass an emissions inspection every year prior to registering their vehicle with the county of residence. The most recent 3 model years are exempt from this requirement. The 13 metro counties covered by the state's inspection and maintenance program are Cherokee, Clayton, Cobb, Coweta, DeKalb, Douglas, Fayette, Forsyth, Fulton, Gwinnett, Henry, Paulding, and Rockdale. For more detailed information about the emissions inspection program, call the Georgia Clean Air Force at 1-800-449-2471. Remember, removing or disabling a vehicle's emissions control components is a violation of federal and state law. In addition to proper vehicle maintenance, you can help reduce air pollution and traffic congestion by limiting driving to necessary travel, by planning ahead to consolidate trips, and by using carpools, transit, and ride-sharing. All drivers should do their part to reduce the impact of automobiles and trucks on air quality and the environment. Idling engines. Minimize your idling time. Eliminating unnecessary idling can reduce fuel consumption, engine wear, and air pollution. When warming up the engine, follow the manufacturer's guidelines to assure sufficient engine performance for safe driving. Idling a vehicle for 10 seconds will consume more fuel than restarting the engine. Section 9. Sharing the road. Sharing the road with pedestrians. While there has been an increase of motor vehicles on our roads, the number of persons traveling by foot is also growing. According to the Georgia Department of Transportation, pedestrians account for almost 15% of motor vehicles deaths. In 2016, Georgia had a 15% increase in pedestrian deaths. Distractions are believed to be a contributing factor. It is critical that pedestrians and motorists pay attention to safely share the road. Georgia's law concerning pedestrians. The driver of a vehicle shall stop and remain stopped to allow a pedestrian to cross the roadway within a crosswalk. When the pedestrian is upon the half of the roadway on which the vehicle is traveling, or when the pedestrian is approaching and is within one lane of the half of the roadway on which the vehicle is traveling or onto which it is turning. Half of the roadway means all traffic lanes carrying traffic in one direction of travel. When making a left or right turn at any intersection. At stop signs, after coming to a complete stop and before proceeding. At traffic signals, even when the light is green, if pedestrians are still in the crosswalk. When entering a street or highway from an alley, driveway, or private road. When approaching a blind person who is crossing a street or highway if she is carrying a white cane or being guided by a dog. Crosswalks. Crosswalks exist on all 4 corners of intersections even when they are not marked by painted lines. A crosswalk is the part of the pavement for pedestrian traffic where the sidewalk would extend across the street. Crosswalks can also exist mid-block if they are marked. Respect crosswalks. When pedestrians are in crosswalks, they have the right of way over motor vehicles. Do not block crosswalks. When stopping at red lights or stop signs, always stop your vehicle before the crosswalk so pedestrians can cross safely. Even at crosswalks without traffic signals, drivers must stop and remain stopped for pedestrians in the crosswalk when the pedestrian is upon the half of the roadway or approaching and within one lane of the half of the roadway upon which the vehicle is traveling. Half of the roadway means all traffic lanes carrying traffic in one direction of travel. Blind pedestrians. Pedestrians using guide dogs or white walking canes must be given the right of way at all times. Always remain alert for pedestrians when driving. Look for pedestrians on both sides of the street when approaching intersections, when turning, or near schools, parks, bus stops and other places people are likely to walk. Look behind your car for children or other pedestrians before backing up in driveways and parking lots. Turning right at a red traffic signal. Before turning right on red, drivers must come to a full and complete stop before the crosswalk. Do not block the crosswalk when waiting to make a right turn at a red light. This puts pedestrians at risk, forcing them to walk around your vehicle. After looking to your left to find a gap in traffic, you must look to your passenger side to ensure a pedestrian is not crossing in front of your vehicle. Passing stopped cars in lanes of travel. Use extreme caution when passing stopped cars on multi-lane roads. A pedestrian you can't see may be crossing in a marked or unmarked crosswalk. This is a frequent cause of serious or fatal pedestrian injuries. When you stop at a crosswalk on a multi-lane road, stop at least 10 feet before the crosswalk so a driver in the next lane can see the pedestrian. Exiting and entering driveways. When exiting or entering a driveway, alley, or parking garage, drivers must stop before the sidewalk area and proceed only after pedestrians have safely passed. Drivers waiting to turn left into a driveway must wait not only for a gap in oncoming traffic, but also for pedestrians to finish crossing the sidewalk portion of the driveway. Vehicle speed. Pedestrians are less protected from the harmful effects of a crash than occupants of motor vehicles. The risk of serious or fatal pedestrian injuries increase exponentially with driver speed. This chart illustrates the effect of speed upon a pedestrian who is struck by a motor vehicle. When a pedestrian is struck by a motor vehicle traveling 40 miles per hour, the risk of pedestrian death is at least 80%. Sharing the road with bicycles. Bicycle riding is an important type of transportation, particularly for traveling to work and to school. Because bicyclists may be on any road at any time, drivers must always be alert for bicycle traffic. Bike car crashes often happen because drivers do not see bicyclists soon enough. In Georgia, as in other states, most crashes occur during daylight hours on straight, dry roads, typically near intersections or driveways. Bicyclists are legally entitled to use every road in Georgia except the interstate and interstate-like highways, limited access highways. The law allows bicyclists use of the full lane. They are not required to be in a bike lane even when one is present. Although their slower pace may slow motorists occasionally, it is important for drivers to respect the bicyclist's right to be there. Yield the right of way to the bicyclist in the same way that you would yield to another motorist. If possible, make eye contact with the bicyclist, especially at intersections. Road defects cause more problems for bicycles than for cars. When passing a bicycle rider, leave the bicyclist plenty of room in case he or she has to swerve to miss a pothole or other danger in the road. The minimum legal space for a motorist to pass a bicyclist is 3 feet. Important reminders concerning bicycle riders. At intersections, wait until the bicyclist is out of the intersection before making a turn. When passing a bicyclist, slow down and make sure the rider is aware of your presence. Leave at least 3 feet between the bicycle and your vehicle and only pass when it is safe to do so. If there is not enough room to pass because of oncoming traffic, wait until conditions are safe for passing. Watch for bicyclists who may appear to suddenly swerve or turn in front of you. Bicyclists sometimes forget or do not have the opportunity to merge left due to traffic speed, in order to be in the left turn position. Nighttime bicyclists will not always have lights, and some may not even have reflectors. If you meet an oncoming bicyclist, please dim your lights to avoid blinding the bicyclist. Bike lanes and any other bicycle infrastructure are for the use of bicycles only. Motorists are not to drive or park in a bike lane. Bicyclists are able to pass on the right side of motorists if there is a dedicated lane or sufficient room in a shared lane, and it is safe to do so. Arm signals used by bicyclists. Bicyclists should use their arms to signal to other motorists when they are going to make a turn, and the direction of the turn or when they are slowing or stopping. Sharing the road with motorcycles. Today's motorcycle riders are friends, relatives, and neighbors, but many car drivers still have not adjusted to motorcycles appearing in traffic. Traveling by motorcycle is appealing to some people. They are fuel and space efficient and can be fun to ride. Motorcyclists have the same rights and responsibilities as automobile drivers. While everyone must follow the same traffic laws, motorcyclists face additional dangers because motorcycles require exceptional handling ability and motorcyclists are more vulnerable to injury and death than car drivers if involved in a crash. It is important to understand more about motorcycle operation. From ahead or behind, a motorcycle's outline, whether 2 or 3 wheels, is much smaller than a passenger vehicle's outline, and most drivers expect to see larger vehicles on the road and are not looking for motorcycles. The small profile of the motorcycle may make it appear farther away and traveling slower than it actually is. Drivers need to take a second look, and then a third. Always make a visual check, mirrors, of blind spots before entering or leaving a lane of traffic and at intersections. Be alert for a motorcyclist to appear unexpectedly. Allow a full lane. Motorcycles are allowed the full width of a lane in which to maneuver. Although it may seem that there is enough room in the traffic lane for a motor vehicle and a motorcycle, the motorcycle needs the room to maneuver safely. Do not share the lane. Understand that motorcyclists may adjust lane position for their own safety, not to be reckless or show off. Motorcyclists often adjust position within a lane to be seen more easily or to minimize the effects of road debris, passing vehicles, or other conditions. Often, this means riding in the left portion of the traffic lane to allow a better view of some traffic and road situations. It also makes the motorcycle more visible to other traffic. However, as traffic and road conditions change, the rider may move. This move could be to the center of the lane or even to the right side to avoid traffic or to be seen by others on the road. Road conditions. Remember that road conditions which are minor annoyances to motorists can pose major hazards to motorcyclists. Motorcycle riders may change speed or adjust position within a lane suddenly in reaction to road and traffic conditions such as potholes, gravel, wet or slippery surfaces, pavement seams, railroad crossings, and grooved pavement. Intersections. Intersections are the most likely places for car-motorcycle crash to occur. This usually is the result of a car driver not seeing the motorcycle and turning into the motorcycle's path. Misinterpreting a rider's intentions can also lead to crashes. The rider will move to one side of the lane in preparation for a turn or possibly to move away from a hazard unseen by other motorists. Do not assume the rider's intention until the maneuver is unmistakably started, such as a turn into an intersection or driveway. Don't be fooled by a flashing turn signal on a motorcycle. Motorcycle signals may not be self-canceling and motorcyclists sometimes forget to turn them off. Wait to be sure the rider is going to turn before you proceed. Following too close. Allow more following distance, 3 or 4 seconds, when following a motorcycle so the motorcycle rider has enough time to maneuver or stop in an emergency. Space between the two vehicles should be increased to avoid sudden braking. In dry conditions, motorcycles can stop more quickly than cars. Both riders and drivers are more likely to make incorrect decisions if there is not enough stopping distance or ability to see and react to conditions. This leads to crashes. A rider's chance of injury is greater if forced to avoid obstacles ahead, as well as a driver following too closely. Passing and being passed. The rules for passing other vehicles are similar for motorcycles. The motorist being overtaken by a motorcycle should maintain lane position and speed. Allow the motorcyclist to complete the pass and assume proper lane position as quickly as possible. When passing a motorcycle, allow a full lane to the motorcycle. Never crowd into the same lane as the motorcycle. Returning to the original lane too soon can force a rider to swerve to the right into traffic or off the road. Partners on the road. What all this means is, Motorcycles are full partners in the traffic mix and must be treated with the same courtesies. Watch for the unexpected and give them their share of the road. A rider may be the neighbor next door. Sharing the road with school buses. In most cases, all drivers are required to stop when approaching or meeting a stopped school bus that has its lights flashing and is loading or unloading passengers. The exception to this rule is when highways are separated in the center by median strips. In this situation, only vehicles following or traveling along